Late night, Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
Do you know what it's like to fall on the floor? Cry your guts out till you got no more. Hey man, now you're really living. Have you ever made love to a beautiful girl? Made you feel like it's not such a bad world. Hey man, now you're really living. Now you're really giving everything, and you're really getting all you gave. Now you're really living what this life is all about. Well, I just saw the sunrise over the hill. Never used to give me much of a thrill. But hey, man, now I'm really living. Do you know what it's like to care too much about someone that you're never gonna get to touch? Hey, man, now you're really living. Have you ever sat down in the fresh cut grass and thought about the moment and when it will pass? Hey man, now you're really living. Now you're really giving everything, and you're really getting all you gave. Now you're really living what this life is all about. Now what would you say if I told you that everyone thinks you're a crazy old cat? Hey man, now you're really living. Do you know what it's like to fall on the floor? Cry your guts out till you got no more. Hey man, now you're really living. Have you ever made love to a beautiful girl? Made you feel like it's not such a bad world. Hey man, now you're really living. People, do you know what it's like to fall on the floor? Cry your guts out till you got no more. Just saw the sunrise over the hill. Never used to give me much of a thrill. Hey man, now I'm really living.
So, what the hell? I'm going to play you. Oh, shut up. This bit's longer than I thought. There we go. So, that's enough of that. So, I'm going to play you the best song in the world later on. It may not be the best song in the world, but it's this song by the Eels. We've mentioned the Eels before, right? And it's this guy. What's his name? Is it? I want to say Rupert Everett, but he's an actor, isn't he, Rupert Everett? But this guy's name may be Rupert Everett as well. I don't know. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. There'll be Eels fans out there that can tell me. Good for you. 03444991000. But this song, isn't it funny? iPod Shuffle, right? Every now and then, I'll just get reminded that there's an act that I really like, and I haven't listened to them for maybe 5 or 6 years, and then it will pop up in my iPod Shuffle and I go, oh, I remember the Eels. And this song popped up on my iPod Shuffle today oh, God! I listened to it thrice, but I had to stop it because I was crying in my car on the A40. Imagine! And I'll play it later on. It's brilliant, right? And if someone were to say, Iain, can you describe yourself in 3.5 minutes? I go, oh yeah, listen to this song. It sums me up perfectly. It's brilliant. But that's not necessarily what I want to talk about this evening, although you're more than welcome to call in with songs what sum you up. I've never had anything like it. It was, every line was like, oh yeah, that's me. Oh, that's me. Oh my God, he's talking about my dad now. It was the weirdest thing. We'll play it later on. The question I really want to ask you tonight is, why the hell do I sit through so many boring films? Boring films. I watched a film today, right? And this was after I'd watched the film with Bryan Cranston in, the Imaginator, or so. I don't know what it was. He doesn't pretend. He is an undercover drugs officer, right? And I watched that yesterday, and it was 2 hours of utter utter tedium. But it was like the fourth film I'd started, and I kind of said, right, well, it's a boring film, but Bryan Cranston is very watchable. So I watched it for him. And then today, I watched a film, and it's a film I'd seen a trailer for, and I know the trick that they do in trailers. They put the best bits of the film in the trailer, don't they? Have you noticed? So that you then watch the whole film expecting it to be like the 2.5 minutes you've seen in the trailer, and this film was not anything like the trailer, because the trailer made it exciting, and the film was boring and weird, and I sat through the entire film, and I was there watching it on my own, right, and I said out loud, man, this film is boring. I said it out loud. But I couldn't stop watching it. And I don't mean I couldn't stop watching it because it was so bad it was good. It wasn't a Plan 9 from outer space or Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. It wasn't anything like that. It was just the most boring, tedious, rubbish. I'll tell you the film, and some of you will have seen it, right? Some of you will have seen this film. Most of you won't have seen it, because I think you're quite a cultured lot, right? So you won't know what this film is. It's a film called The Guest, right? And it was just unspeakably bad. It was from, I think, last year or maybe the year before, right? And yet it was made... It was like it was in the 80s. It had all of the hallmarks of a really crappy 80s straight-to-video movie. Now, so I'm going to ask a really niche question for you to call in. I know I said, I don't do questions and all that. Well, that's a lie, right? Can you only call in, please, for the first 10 minutes of the show or so, if you've seen The Guest? And I know... I'm really narrowing down the callership on a news station that doesn't get that many calls anyway. Now I'm being uber niche. Can you only call in, please, if you've seen The Guest? I don't want to speak to anyone else. Only want to speak to them if they've seen The Guest. Okay? Now, we may get no phone calls on that, but I need to speak to another human being who has sat through that pile of crap. Because it was awful. And I remember going to the cinema like 18 months ago, a couple of years ago, and there was always a trailer for it on. And I remember thinking, oh yeah, that looks all right. 0344 499 1000. I can tell you now, this has not set the switchboard alight. I didn't expect it to. But I'm quite happy to wait. So if you've seen the film The Guest, can you call in and I just want to check that I've got I'm calibrated properly. Because the last few films I've watched, I've sat through, I've gone, that's rubbish. That was rubbish. And maybe, this is a possibility. Maybe my calibration is off slightly. And so films that are actually all right, for some reason, for whatever reason it may be, faulty wiring in my head, I know not. I'm watching these films that are quite good and going, that's crap, that's rubbish. So I don't know. So, 0344 499 1000 is the telephone number. And we may get no phone calls, but I'm happy to sit here until, how long do we give it? Until 11? I'm happy to sit here until 11. And if by 11 we've not had a phone call from someone who's watched The Guest, then, okay, fair play, we'll move on. I'm happy to do that because, right, I can't believe I'm the only one that's watched this film. Let me tell you what it's about, right? So it's about this American family, mom, dad, son, hot daughter. I think she's legal. And their son died in an unnamed American conflict. Right, he was in the military. And then this guy, who claims to be a friend of their son's, rocks up at the house and kind of moves in with them. Right? So far, so good. Right? And there's like, when he turns up, there's like spooky music. You think, oh, this guy's going to get a bit of psychopath. And then things kind of start happening. Like he has sex with a hot girl. Remember that bit? And he kills the dad's boss, so the dad gets the boss's job. That happens. And he goes, there's a really weird bit where the boy, the child, who's got to be, 14, 15, is getting bullied at school. So what the guest does is he goes and beats the crap out of the kids that are bullying him. But actually, really, it's a really nasty beating that he does. And he kicks these kids in. And I'm watching it and thinking, this is rubbish. This is thoroughly unpleasant. Guys, there could be 45 minutes of me talking to myself about a film that no one has seen, right? I am prepared to do that. It gets like 7.6 on IMDb, and I trust IMDb. And all of the user reviews give it like 8 and 9 out of 10. Which is why I think maybe, just maybe, a fuse has blown in my head, or maybe my depression is manifesting itself in a way that I don't appreciate art and beauty and storytelling like I used to do. Maybe that's it. So, unless you want to hear me talking about this on my own for another 45 minutes, which I'm quite happy to do, 0344 499 1000. I'm Iain Lee. Tonight we're talking about the movie The Guest. This is Talk Radio.
Late night conversation worth losing sleep over. Iain Lee.
On air and off the leash.
On Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
Well, Angela has emailed in. If you go to talkradio.co.uk, you can send me an email. Can't stand America films, they carp. Prefer radio and books. Well, hang on a minute. She means crap. I think, unless, fish. You can't stand America films, they carp? The hell? Angela, that's the most insane thing I've ever heard. America films are the best. All right, and the Spaniards have done some good films. The Japanese have done some brilliant films. The Hong Kong people have done some great films. Right? They've all done great films, yeah? But the America films, there's more of them, and they're better. Germanland was really neat. America does the best films. What are you talking about? Roger's never called before.
Good evening, Ian.
Good evening, Roger.
I've just seen your tweet.
I'm going to destroy you.
You're going to destroy me. No, you're not. No, you're not.
Destroy you. Have you seen The Guest?
Yes.
I've got to be honest. I'm sure I'm going to get a strong... when I turn my phone on after the show, I'll have a strong message from my the boss, Denny, saying, "Here, Ian, what are you doing? It's a new radio station and we haven't got many callers and you're doing your first hour about film no one's seen. What are you doing?" And I say, calm down, son, calm down. Roger, have you seen The Guest?
Yes, I have seen The Guest.
Is it rubbish?
No.
Oh, this is what I was
Brilliant.
thinking. Tell me what about it is brilliant, because I saw what I saw was a really lazy, badly done film with incoherent plot, completely inconsistent storyline that looked like it had been made in 1986.
That's why it's brilliant.
Oh, flipping heck. I agree with Angela. America films are carp.
It's just so over the top. It's like if the Taken films were crossed with something like Universal Soldier and made in the 80s.
But what was he? What was he like? Was he an interdimensional soldier?
I think he was meant to be resurrected. You know, like the Universal Soldier when they resurrect the dead soldier.
Where did you get that? Where did you get that from? He'd been resurrected.
That.
Where did you get that from? This is what I'm talking about. What part of the film gave you an indication that he'd been resurrected from the dead?
Oh, God.
Like Universal Soldier and Christ.
It's been a while since I've seen it, to be honest, but...
Hang on a minute. Let's bring John into the conversation. John, have you seen The Guest?
Oh, yeah.
Any good?
Well, I don't agree with you entirely. I think it actually started off rather well.
Yeah. It started off quite well when he went into the house.
Yeah, and because I thought I like films, I'm a horror film man, as you probably know, but I like films which sort of throw you into confusion. You think, what's happening here? You know,
Yes.
it's vaguely threatening. Now, can I just say one thing? Our listeners are in luck here because it's on Film 4 tomorrow.
Is it?
At 9 o'clock. You can watch it again, Ian.
I don't know if they are in luck, because this is going to be a really dull hour for some people. So, all right, so it's on tomorrow night on Film 4, so they can tape it and watch it.
Oh, yeah.
And let me know. Please tweet me, hashtag The Guest, and let me know.
I'll tell you what I think about it. It kept me interested for about the first half.
Yeah.
Oh, should there be a spoiler alert coming up?
Oh, screw those losers. They should have seen it by now.
I thought it completely fizzled out the second half.
What was the bit when they what was the bit where they're in the school, right? This is the most niche show I've ever done. They're in the school, but the school's done out because it's a Halloween party, so there's like a maze in the school. What the hell was that about?
To add to the confusion and the excitement, it seemed very, very contrived to me, if you don't mind me saying, sir.
Did you, John, like Roger, think that The Guest had been resurrected from the dead?
No, you see, when you said I was worried when I heard you say that, because I was thinking, now, where exactly did he come from? I'm not sure they fully explain that. They were specially trained to sort of pursue whatever goal they were given.
Yeah.
And he said, he did make the point that they have to, if they see anybody as a threat, they have to get rid of them immediately, and that's what made him so dangerous.
How come, right? Roger, this is to you, right? So the Guest is like a super soldier, may or may not have been resurrected from the dead. We don't know, right?
Yeah.
But as John says, if he perceives anyone as a threat, he has to kill them instantly, right? How come? He kills the mum and the dad. Easy, of course he does. They're not military trained. He kills. There's when the black guy who's in Lost and Fringe comes out with. He's got like 6 mercenaries, and one's obviously Taliban, one's KGB, and all of that. He kills all of them instantly. Just kills them outright, easily.
Yeah.
He can't kill a 14-year-old boy and his hot 17-year-old sister. He can't kill them.
Yeah.
Do you see?
Yeah, because it's a daft film.
Oh!
It's deliberately daft.
Oh!
The girl was good, though. The girl was good in it, because she was the only person who knew something weird was going on, wasn't she?
All right, then, John, hang on a second. If he has to kill everyone who he perceives as a threat, he knew really early on that she knew that he wasn't what he said he was, so why didn't he kill her straight away?
You're just exposing flaws. I'm just looking at the... I looked when I saw it was on, I thought... I was intrigued, and I read there's a very short preview in What's on TV.
Yes.
Dan Stevens rips his cosy downtown Downton Abbey image to shreds with a mesmerising performance as a cold-blooded killer who comes to stay with a grieving New Mexico family.
But that sounds good.
Wait for it. Nearly there. In this tense, explosively exciting, and darkly comic psychological thriller.
Where was the comedy?
Yeah, what a comedy.
Where was the comedy, Roger?
Where's the comedy, Roger?
Roger, where was the comedy?
I just must be a sick puppy because I thought it was funny.
Tell me one bit. I love the way we're all ganging up on Roger. Sorry, Roger. First time he's ever called. He's never called. He's never calling again. Tell me one funny bit that happened in that film.
Oh God, the whole thing. The whole thing's just it's just so over the top. You can't take it seriously.
Sam.
Hi.
Hey Sam, have you seen The Guest?
Yeah, three times.
Sorry?
I love it. I've seen it 3 times.
What? The Guest?
3 times?
Yeah, The Guest.
You know, which was the most enjoyable, first, second, or third?
The third.
You know, Sam, there are other films.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, you know that? Okay. Do you keep seeing things every time you watch it? Do you see things that you missed the first time?
No, but I've been revising now for the phone call. And apparently they cut out 20 minutes worth of scenes which explained sort of why he is how he is and what happened to him.
So they cut out the bit that explains what he is?
Yeah, they wanted to keep it more mysterious.
But it wasn't mysterious. Well, okay, right, Sam. Let's. The first question is he resurrected from the dead?
No.
Thank you, Roger. You've been shot down in flames.
Yep.
He's the KBG do experiments on him.
KBG! Oh, man!
So they wanted to leave it ambiguous, so they cut the film by test screeners.
This is what I hate, right? When they say ambiguous, what they mean is they don't know how to make a film. I once saw a film that had been directed by Tim Roth, I think, and it was quite harrowing. It's about child abuse. And the ending, right, it just ended, and it was a Q&A. And someone said, so, Tim, what happens... What's the ending? He said, I like to leave that up to you, the viewer, to decide. Well, no, mate, that's not my job. Your job as the director is to tell me the ending. Don't leave me going, I wonder if he got away, or I wonder if they could it's a story. Tell me the ending. And Sam, whatever loser made this film should have made it clear who the KBG are.
Yeah.
Okay. Sam, can I ask a question?
Is that John?
Sure.
This is John. I just wondered if, when you say you watched it 3 times...
I think I watched it twice in a week because I really liked it, and I went back after like a year.
Sam, how old are you? 22?
There's a Spotify playlist of the soundtrack as well. I've just found that out.
You've done what, Sam?
Yeah, there's a spot. I've just looked it up. I made a Spotify playlist of the soundtrack in January 2015.
Sam, how old are you? 22?
28.
20. I was a little bit out there. Because I remember, right, do you remember when you were like 15 and you'd rent a video from the post office?
Yeah.
And you won't remember this, Sam, because but John and Roger are old men like me. And you'd watch it. You'd watch it that night because your mate was staying over. And you'd watch it that night. Be like Bill and Ted or something. And then the next morning, if it was school holiday, you'd watch it again in the morning while you had your breakfast.
Get your money's worth.
Yeah, get your money's worth. You'd watch it twice.
Yeah. Did you see, Sam, did you see much or any humour in it?
Well, it's the whole over-the-top nature and sort of deliberate cheese.
Yeah.
No, I found it funny, yeah.
I remember when I laughed. I'll tell you what made me laugh, and I'm not proud of this, when he started to do the bit where he just sort of started snapping anybody who got in his way into half, and it was so efficient and to the point, that made me snigger.
I didn't like... Sorry, Karen.
Go on, Sam, what were you going to say?
Towards the end, it started to get a bit...
boring.
Like I didn't like it when he killed the mum.
Oh, I like... Now! I like that bit when he killed the mum.
Did he stab her in the
He stabbed her in the stomach, yeah.
That's very hard.
I liked it when he killed the mum and when he killed the hot Asian girl in the restaurant.
I like that bit.
That bit was good. That bit was
now.
good. That bit was good. And those two bits were good, but the rest of it I thought was utter pony. But basically, you're all saying it's all right and that I'm wrong.
Oh, I wouldn't go that far.
No, I wouldn't say you're wrong, Ian. Everybody's entitled to
Hang on, is that Roger?
Yes, that's
Roger,
right.
You just were saying it was one of the greatest films you've ever seen. Now you're backtracking.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
I thought that, I have to say, the very end bit, do you know where the person, he walked off with this thing over his head?
He escapes as a fireman.
I found that a little bit cliched.
Yeah. Oh, that's the only bit you found cliched, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, just the bit where he escapes as a fireman at the end.
I've seen that in a few
cliched, isn't it? It's an homage.
The whole was a cliche.
Yeah, but that's what we're going for.
No, that's what we're going for.
Exactly.
All right, guys. Well, that's the end of the guest discussion. Thanks very much, gentlemen.
Film ring?
No, no, it's not. It's not. Thank you, Roger. Thank you, Sam. Thank you, John. You've been very good sports. I appreciate your input.
Pleasure.
Cheers.
Thank you very much indeed. I had to. I know. You talk about niche openings to a show, a film that hardly any... Well, you can watch it tomorrow night at 9 o'clock, but you know he escapes as a fireman at the end. Right, onwards and upwards, dear listener. 0344 499 1000 is the telephone number if you want to give us a call. You can call in about any old thing you want. But I tell you what I do want to know, where do you stand on Goatees?
Late night Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
I am trying to get David Cassidy on the show. Now, when I say trying, I sent him a tweet. He's joined Twitter. He's got 76 followers. I'm more popular than David Cassidy. I'm really trying to get David Cassidy on the show. I would love to have a chat with David Cassidy because I think he's brilliant. Genuinely, the first 4 solo albums he did while he was still in the Partridge Family. It's a very confusing career. He'd release records with the Partridge Family, then go and release solo records. The first 4 solo records are absolute pop gems, and I wonder, he did an album, I think maybe his 4th or 5th one, which is a concept album. Get this right. It's a concept album about how fleeting the fame of a pop star is. It's brilliant. Called The Higher They Climb, the Harder They Fall. It's absolutely brilliant. And it's a very prophetic cover because the front is him as like a rock star kind of flying off into space. And the back of it is him lying in the gutter with an empty whiskey bottle. Very prophetic. So I'm really, really trying to get David Cassidy on the show. Because I think he'd be fascinating. I also wonder if he's off the wagon, because he's had his demons. And there's a really interesting clip on YouTube of him shouting at someone in the audience. And what's interesting about that clip, I wonder if I can find it on here. What's interesting about that, it's a really mean bit of footage. Right, really mean bit of footage. Now I'm about to play it. He won't come on. Hang on, David Cassidy berates. Let's have a look. David Cassidy berates. Here we go. Listen to this. This is David Cassidy in concert, right? And there's someone in the audience is shining a light on him, right, from the phone, from a camera phone, right. So have a little listen to. Oh, I've got to wait for an advert. Oh, man alive. And people, loads of people have jumped to his defence. And I do find defending celebrities' bad behaviour, I find a really interesting phenomenon. Peter Talk of the Monkees, not often, there have been famous occasions when he shouted. I saw him shout at a friend of mine because he asked for an autograph. Here we go, listen to this. Here we go.
Would you please turn that light out or be removed from the theatre? Turn that light out. It's blinding me. I have had 5 eye surgeries. Are you that insensitive? Are you that stupid or deaf? Turn it out. Please have an usher remove this person. Get them to turn it off or else I'm not going on anymore. I can't take it. I'm blinded already by the...
It really is. That's in the middle of a concert. And he does sound slurry. In all of his recent interviews and things, he sounded slurry. And he looks awful, you know, not just because he's ageing. And I really wonder what the hell is going on with David Cassidy. Again, really keeping it current. I know what you kids want. What the hell is going wrong with David Cassidy? Huh? Call me with your thoughts now, girls. But I genuinely think he's brilliant. And this isn't me, you know, there is no tongue-in-cheek. There is no irony. There is no, I'm not winking at the camera. I genuinely think David Cassidy is brilliant. I'll tell you what we'll do tonight. I'll play a few David Cassidy songs to highlight that I think he's a brilliant pop star. No, he's not the Beatles. Although he used to hang out with John Lennon. That's weird. He's not, you know, he's a pop star. But he's a bloody good pop star. And I'd love to just kind of get in there and find out what's going on. 0344 499 1000 is the telephone number. If you want to give us a call, you're more than welcome to. Alan.
Hey, baby.
What kind of cake?
Drizzle.
Just drizzle cake.
Because the Simpsons have got it right.
You've what?
You know the Simpsons?
Yes. Oh, God, yes.
They got it right.
What? No, they didn't.
They made a prediction in 2000.
No, they didn't.
That Donald Trump would be
No, they
president.
didn't. They didn't.
Why not?
Well, they didn't, though. They did a sketch that portrayed Trump as president, and now Trump is the president-elect. But they did. It wasn't a prediction. It wasn't Matt Groening and all of those dudes going, OK, guys, let's link hands. Anyone getting any images? What, you think Trump's going to be president? Right, let's... They just did it as a silly skit. And by coincidence, it happened. Here's the thing, though. Here's the thing, Alan. Here's my prediction. You want my prediction?
Go on.
Trump isn't president yet, right?
Not till Inauguration Day, January next year.
January the 20th. Here's my prediction. Clip this, guys. Clip this. Trump will not become president.
Oh, tell me more.
I think he's going to die.
Assassination?
Well, no, not necessarily assassination, but possibly a suicide bomber, possibly a heart attack. Someone suggested on Twitter prostate cancer. It's possible. I genuinely think he's going to die, or he's going to quit before he gets there because the panic's going to set in, or he's going to go to prison.
Because of what happened with the ladies.
Here's an interesting question, because have I got this right? I need your brains here, guys. You can't... I'm sure I've got this right. Hang on, let me get my thoughts right. Hang on. You can't press charges against the President of the United States, I think. No, you can't, because no charges were pressed against Nixon while he was President of the United States.
What about Bill Clinton and the whole Monica Lewinsky thing?
Well, yeah, but no charges were pressed. Well, I mean, something was pressed up against her, but there were no charges pressed, right? You can't press charges against the president. You have to impeach them. I don't really know what impeachment means, but he has got...
Clinton, they failed.
He has got... Now, next month, there is a civil case against him for alleged sex with a girl under the age of consent. Now, does that case... I can't believe I'm asking you, Alan. You don't even know what day it is.
It's Thursday.
OK, fair play. Well, maybe you will know the answer to this then. So the civil case that I think was in November against Trump for having sex with an underage girl, I think she was 13, in this, alleged thing. Can that case... If he was president, that case couldn't go ahead. As he's president-elect, can that case go ahead?
Not a bit of a 50-50 split there.
Well, I wouldn't do a 50-50 split. I think that's... Anyway, make your own jokes. Again, I'm probably asking the wrong person, Alan, and I realise that.
Let's throw it out there.
Let's throw it out there. There'll be some American legal eagles out there. Maybe we could... Is Clive Ball still doing the legal hour? Can we phone up and speak to Daniel Barnett on the legal hour? Is that allowed if we phone up another radio station and ask them about a technicality in American law? Can we do that? Probably not. Probably not.
Be good.
Well, Alan, why don't you give them a call and let me know the answer?
I don't know our receive number.
OK, thanks very much indeed for calling. 0344 499 1000 is our number. Cost you pennies, may even be free. We call you back. I wonder. It was like, wasn't it November? No, it was this month, November the 20th or something. Oh, the case with the 13-year-old has been dropped. Oh, I see. I don't think Trump's going to be president. I think he'll die. But when Trump dies, right? Boy, oh boy, there's going to be some stories, aren't there? Aren't there? There's going to be some great stories. You know what? He'll be all right as president. This is Talk Radio.
Uncut after-hours conversation for the up-all-night generation. Late night Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
David Cassidy is perhaps one of the greatest pop stars of all time. To get rid of the bed, I want to play you a song. Right, listen to this song, right? It's a little bit fey, and it's a little bit limp, but it's 2 minutes 54 of pop perfection. Have a listen to this. Oh, hang on, I've not got my thing plugged in. Look at that. There we go. Let's try again. Hang on a second. Here we go. Have a listen to this.
I can't sleep tonight. I found someone. You smiled at me and said you were free, and I was alone. Would we meet again? You need have asked. I'll wait for you at dawn. If this night will only pass, but the clock has used to move. It's dark inside my room. It must be daylight soon. Where is the morning? I can't believe all my dismay. Just had to pack and leave. When at last you look my way, it's so to bed, but not to sleep. It's only morning light that will end this watch I keep. But the stars shine across the land, don't seem to understand how things get out of hand. Where is the morning? But the clock hands refuse to move. It's dark inside my room. It must be daylight soon. Where is the morning? Where is the morning? Where is the morning?
Oh, man. But imagine, right, you're a teenage girl and he's singing that, but the clock hands refuse to move. It must be daylight soon. Where is the morning? We all know what that feels like. I love it. David Cassidy is the unsung, forgotten pop mastermind of the early 70s. He's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Am I right, Charlotte?
You are absolutely damn right.
He's brilliant, isn't he?
Shame. He is fantastic. I saw him live a few years back, and it was brilliant. It's a shame.
Where did you see him live, Charlotte?
Birmingham.
Oh, I saw him at the Hammersmith Odeon.
Oh, right.
I know. But what I'm trying to say is he's up because I grew up listening to the Monkees, Charlotte, right? And people would take the mickey out of that and all of that. So I've got none of that musical snobbery now. If it's good music, it's good music. I don't care who did it. And I just think that he's been overlooked.
He has. All you hear is negativity about him.
Yep.
And my children are all adults now because I'm 52.
Oh, blimey.
And they get fed up with me playing David Cassidy, and they all cringe. But I still love him.
What's interesting as well is he's worked with the Beach Boys. They did backing vocals on his cover of Darling, I think it was. He's worked with the Turtles. He was the first person to record a version of I Write the Songs. He did it before Barry Manilow.
He did, yes.
Yeah.
And he's also done a version of Hush.
Yes. He's and it is. You know, we all like to watch a car crash, Charlotte. You know, this is why the rubberneckers, when you're driving on the motorway and you're stuck in traffic, it's because everybody's looking at the car crash on the other side of the road, and we all think, well, I won't look. Oh, God, blimey, look at the state of that. I wonder if they got out alive. And it sadly, his public life has been a little bit of a car crash the last couple of years with the divorce and with the bankruptcy and with he's been done for drink driving a couple of times, and it is and the shouting thing and the interview with Eamon Holmes on This Morning, where I like Eamon, but I thought Eamon was a little bit mean-spirited.
He was, yes, he was.
And I just want to grab Dave. I'm a 43-year-old man. I just want to grab David Cassidy and give him a slap and say, look, if you're drinking, stop drinking. You're really good and really talented and people love you. Stop doing what you're doing, man.
That's right, because without it, he's great.
Yeah.
Oh, I loved him since 1974, and I always will.
Oh, look at you. Did you go and see him when he came over here in the 70s?
No, because I was just a whippersnapper then. But, oh, my days, when I did see him a few years ago, I embarrassed everybody by standing on the seat screaming.
And you know what? That's brilliant. That's what pop music should be.
And he looked over and waved. My God.
You're lucky he didn't tell you to shut up and sit down. I mean, judging from some of his recent outbursts.
It would have been a good day.
And I know some people that organised an event a couple of years ago in the States, and David Cassidy was booked as a speaker there. And I've heard he can be quite difficult to work with. And that out of all the acts that they had at this event, he was actually a bit of a pain in the arse. And this was like 3 or 4 years ago, so it was way past the glory days. And again, I just feel you want someone to take him aside. I said, David, you don't need to act like that. You don't need to. You've got these wonderful songs. Go out and play them.
Well, I'd sort him out.
So, no, steady on, Charlotte, for goodness sakes.
I would give him a good slap.
Oh, yeah. Over the bum?
I'd have him sorted out. Say, now, come on, David, get your act together.
And make love to me, David.
Make love to me all night and all day. Fantastic.
Thank you, Charlotte.
Sorry, my children, sorry.
Oh, you're a good sport. Thank you, Charlotte.
You're very
Take care, bye-bye. Clip that bit. Flipping heck. That was all woman there. What you heard was all woman. Yeah, I'm aware that this is a speech-based station, but I was thinking about this today, right? That I start most hours with a song, and I was kind of thinking, why do I do that? And when we are a speech-based station, but I think it adds a bit of colour to the show. Do you know what I mean? It adds it adds something. It adds a bit of texture, a bit of colour. I'm not quite sure what, but I think by playing music, just one song an hour, maybe two songs, I think it just kind of lifts things. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I've disappeared up my own fundament there, Al.
Oh, Ian, yeah, hi.
Hey, Al, what you got?
Yeah, not a David Cassidy fan, I've got to say. Really,
Never mind.
I don't think he's the forgotten pop genius that you're...
Oh, you wait till I play you an album track later on that wasn't a hit. Beautiful.
But who's his writing to? Who's his producers? Who was he working with to get this?
He was working with, interestingly, he was working with Screen Gems, which was the same company that made The Monkees. So he had some of the same songwriters. Yeah.
You're a cognizant. You're a connoisseur of the Monkees.
I am a connoisseur of the Monkees. You wait. I'm going to play you a couple of album tracks later on that weren't hits, because the hits are Cherish and Could It Be Forever and Daydreamer. Yeah, they're kind of cool, but some of the album tracks are just beautiful little 2.5 minute pop gems.
Well, what about do you think he's got a good voice then, Cassidy?
I find it a little bit too breathy.
Yeah.
I find he does. He relies on the breathy bit a bit too much. But when he doesn't, when he holds back from the breathiness, I think he's got a nice voice. He's tiny. He's only like 5'4", I think.
Is he?
Yeah, he's wee fella.
Oh, so he's I mean, what you were talking about him earlier about his problems now was making me think of. Do you remember the guy called Leif Garrett that was a. Have you heard of Leif Garrett?
Why do I know that name? Who was he?
Leif Garrett. He was. Well, you were talking about David Cassidy being a car crash kind of situation, but Leif Garrett actually, his career was he literally had a car crash in the last that kind of knocked his career off. But he had a music career. He was a child actor as well. And I was just thinking, when you were talking about Cassidy, I was thinking, I'm getting confused with Leif Garrett here.
Who is? But what was Leif Garrett in?
What was he in? I'm looking now. He was in. He was in. What was he in?
You're not thinking of that the guy that was in HR Puff and stuff?
I think he might have
Mark
been.
Lester.
He was in. Oh no! What Jack Lester, the one that was in
Jack Lester and Oliver.
Oliver, no, not Jack Lester. No, he had a sad life as well, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
He got the drink got the better of him. No, Leif Garrett, he was in The Outsiders. I think that's where I know him from, because I used to read The Outsiders as a kid.
I don't know The Outsiders.
Francis Ford Coppola film. You know that?
No.
You don't know?
Oh, I might have to check that out.
Anyway, all of that was
child stars, and so
on. But I was just kind of ringing up about your kind of beliefs about what's going to happen to Trump. Really?
Yes. Yeah. Go on.
Now you're thinking he's not going to become president?
I think he's going to die before. I don't think he'll be president. I personally think he's going to die before January the 20th. But I know he will not become president.
You kind of feel it in your water.
Oh, I'm feeling the vibes, the very strong vibes on this one, Al.
The kind of thing I was thinking about this is just the real shock of the election and the fact that the polls got it so wrong that, for months, it's been going on for a year, really, this campaign, hasn't it? Yeah. This whole build-up to it. And people were saying, no, he can't win, and the pollsters were putting him far behind Hillary.
Well, I think we've learnt from the general election, Brexit, and the American election.
Exactly.
Pollsters can go and kiss it. We don't need those guys anymore.
Now, this is kind of the point I'm building to, actually, because Brexit was exactly the same. People were saying, well, there's not really a chance, and the thing, I'm not much of a gambling man, but I was looking at the bookies on this and saying, well, the bookies are not putting it, the odds on Brexit being a success and so on. But kind of wondering how the two shock results have come out like that, and looking at who it benefits, and looking at how now the Russians have basically... I don't want to go all kind of conspiracy.
We've only got 30 seconds, but are you suggesting the Russians are behind Brexit and Trump? Because that doesn't sound that far-fetched.
The Russians, in the last few years, have been working on what's called psychotronic weapons that can basically influence...
Whoa! Al! You're coming back after the news, is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
Boom! Boom! Just saved himself in the last 15 seconds! Psychotropic weapons? I'm in.
Across the UK, online and on DAB.
Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
Talk Radio.
I can't even say it, I'm so excited. Psychotropic weapons invented by the Russians that have influenced the way we vote in Brexit and Trump. I'm in, baby. This is late night radio, unlike any other late night radio. Also, I'm going to prove to you that David Cassidy is a pop genius. I'm Iain Lee. This is Talk Radio.
Late night, Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
What show is Gideon listening to? Gideon. Switch your radio off. You're not bright enough to use the radio. You a nasty, sad man. There's not much punctuation, so I'll add some. He's emailed by going to talkradio.co.uk. You a nasty, sad man should besmirch a true golden heartthrob whose stardust has spanned the decades. What was that? Oh, thank you. If you are upset by David's fabulous presence and persona, fine. But why snipe and hate? You are symptomatic of a wider social malady. Your alleged depression is by your own grasping hand. I'm saying... I think David Cassidy's brilliant. You utter lunatic. Oh, Gideon, you don't know how to work computer properly. Brilliant stuff there. Ow!
Ian, hi.
Yes, that's right. So listen, before the break, we're wrapping it up, and then you drop the bomb, Shell, that you believe that...
The non-lethal bomb, yeah.
The non-lethal bomb. That our voting has been influenced in Brexit and in Trump, the Trump election, by Russia's psychotropic weapons. What the hell are you...
Psychotronic. I should correct you on that. It's not psychotropic, it's psychotronic, as in electronic.
Psychotropic, of course, would be psychedelic. OK, fine. Yeah, thank you very much
indeed. Psychotronic weapons. Well... They were such, as I said earlier, they were such kind of alarming results that no one predicted and seemed to change at the very last minute. I mean, of course, there are many sort of kind of human reasons for that and hidden voters who say one thing to pollsters and vote in a different way. But the Russians have, for very, very many years, looked at what's called remote influencing, which is trying to influence politicians' behaviour... Remotely, yeah, using, what we might call a load of voodoo, but
psychic powers, ESP.
Yeah, exactly, and they put thousands and thousands of rubles into it in the Cold War, but in more recent years, they've been researching these psychotronic weapons, which kind of use electromagnetic pulses and they call it the zombie gun, or the Daily Mail did a report.
Is it like the brown noise machine that the German police have, where they fire it at rioters and it makes them dump...
And then you suddenly defecate and you're out the action. That's part of it. It's all non-lethal weaponry, that is similar to it.
Okay.
In fact, someone the other day was telling me a record label released a brown noise record a few years ago, and... Yeah, and apparently the grooves on the LP, it was vinyl only, and the grooves were like really, really far apart, and you drop the needle on, and then you had to leave the room and go to the bathroom. So,
wow, where can you get that from? Because I want that record.
Tell me about it. I said I'd love to get a copy of it, but maybe an MP3 might be better.
Well, would it work in MP3? Because you lose the top, you lose the top and the bottom, don't you?
You lose a lot of frequency.
I mean, you lose your bottom if you're listening to the record, but you just get the middle. So maybe it needs to be vinyl.
Yeah, I think it comes with a free pack of Imodium. So you just.
Why would a record company release a record that makes you shit yourself? I wonder why.
I don't know. You'd have to ask.
George
Simon
Martin.
Cowell's probably got the...
Simon Cowell, of course, yes. It's the X Factor Christmas record, of course.
It makes you vomit rather than shit yourself. But, no, but seriously, these Russian weapons are something they've put an enormous amount of research into, enormous amount of money, and they are saying that they're going to be more profitable to them, or more strategically important to them than nuclear weapons in the near future. So...
But how did it work in the case of the American election? They influenced 59 million Americans?
Now that is a very, very pertinent question. Obviously, I don't I don't know.
No.
You know, I mean, it's like saying, are they directing some kind of something from aerials? Like, you know, I mean, the name that constantly comes up in this kind of conspiracy sort of thing is Tesla. You know, Nikola Tesla, the old inventor who was. Have you heard of Tesla? Ian?
He invented electricity, didn't he?
He
invented something, and then it got stolen off him.
Current. He fought in the current wars between Edison and Tesla. There was alternating current and direct current, and he
invented alternating current. So I was right. Yeah.
Yeah. So
and didn't he invent a way of creating power that would not generate any money for anybody?
He had a scheme where there was wireless electricity.
Right.
So you didn't have to have a wire.
Yep.
To to source electricity. You could actually transmit electricity as we do Wi-Fi signals. You could beam electrons from So we wouldn't need a wire. So our houses wouldn't need to be wired.
So hang on a minute. Let's go back. Let's get focus a bit. So the Russians have got. I'm going to put this in stupid language because I'm an idiot. All right.
Okay.
So the Russians have got psychic super soldiers that can influence the entire nation of America.
Well, now I'm not going to make claims that grandiose.
Make a claim that grandiose, Al.
I don't know. I know from the internet, study of parapsychology a little bit. Well, I've only studied it, a bit, but
what university did you study it at?
University of Edinburgh, Coastal Parapsychology Unit at the University of Edinburgh.
Okay.
That they put an enormous amount of research into it during the Cold War because they thought, well, if we can influence politicians' decisions, get them to stop, I don't know, directing their troops into Cuba, Vietnam, wherever.
But this is like, you've read John Ronson's The Men Who Stare at Goats.
Yeah, well, exactly.
It's the same thing about, in the 70s, there were American soldiers who'd stare at goats and try and kill them, and there was an officer that would just, random moments, would stand up and run into a wall, thinking he could move his molecules so that he could pass through a wall. And they were obviously nuts.
I think that was a guy called General Stubblebine, Alfred Stubblebine, who thought that he could do that. But the American program came out as a response to them discovering about the Russian-Soviet program. They only instigated all of that because they suddenly realized there was what they call an intelligence gap. They said, oh, Christ, the Russians have been doing this.
Yeah.
They might be doing nothing, but we've got to understand, is it possible? And so the American program was a reaction rather than a proactive.
So what's the long-term game plan then of the Russian psychic super soldiers? What we're all going to be controlled by Russia?
I think their geopolitical strategy. Well, crikey, I'm getting very grandiose now. I think they definitely want to hive America off from Europe and distance it so that Europe is on its own, so that Europe isn't backed up by NATO in such a strong program, and that they're going to have a lot more sway against that. But I mean, these psychotronic weapons, these zombie guns, it sounds like the stuff of science fiction, but it's a lot more subtle than dropping.
Have they got a gay bomb?
I heard about this.
There's a gay bomb, isn't it, that makes everyone go gay? Is that what it does?
There was some stories. I don't know. There were some stories that the Israelis were trying to develop a weapon that could. I don't want to get contentious, actually, but the Israelis were trying to develop a weapon that could only target Palestinians at one point.
Wow.
Yeah, a genetic weapon. And genetic weapons are, you think a lot of our technology comes from military technology. So, your iPod or your computer or something or whatever we get is a hand down from something your military had 40 years ago. So. Yeah. But I just think.
So we might get a brown noise gun to play with at home because that would be fun.
I just think these results are just so strange and so against the grain that.
Hey Al, is this the first time we've spoken? I don't recognise your voice.
Yeah, first time. I've tweeted you. Actually, I was interested in the thing you were saying the other night about you were saying about the backronyms and things like that. I think I tweeted you about them, about the acronyms that people.
Oh, is it backronyms? Is that when they get the word first and then work backwards?
Yeah,
that's good, isn't it? Backronyms. Oh, well, that's nice. I'll have that.
Yeah.
All right, nice one, Al. Well, thanks for calling in. Hopefully you'll call in again.
I will. Ian, cheers, great show.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye. There we go. I mean, it sounded nuts, but I enjoyed that. I don't know. I don't know if the Russians have got psychotronic weapons. A gay bomb? I don't know. Suddenly it's gone a little bit scary, isn't it? Suddenly it's a little bit scary. What if that's all true? What if the Russians are influencing the way that we think and the way that we vote? Or maybe, everyone's just become a bit racist recently. That's another option. 0344 499 1000. Tris, Ty, come to you in a minute. The phones have been absolutely nuts this evening, and I appreciate that. If you're thinking of calling, now is an excellent time to call, because the phones get a little bit quiet between sort of about 12 and about quarter past 11 and about 11:45. So they get a little bit quiet then. So now will be an excellent time to give us a call. Oh, and later on, right, we've been teasing this. I'm going to play the interview that I did with Francis Rossi. Hold your horses. We're talking about not being a musical snob, and I know a lot of you go, Francis Rossi from The Quo. No, thanks. I urge you to listen. Do you remember when I interviewed Mike Love of the Beach Boys and John Lydon, Johnny Rotten? So many of you got in touch and said, those interviews completely changed the way I thought about them, particularly with Mike Love. And loads of people said the John Lydon interview was delightful, and what a charming, kind of pantomime villain he was. And I've just got a feeling that the Francis Rossi interview is going to significantly change the way that you think about him, because, the Quo, they're a bit of a joke, right? But they've had more top 40 records than any other British act. I think any other act in the UK charts. 60, I think. And I found it absolutely fascinating. And I thought, going in there, it was one of those days, a junket, where he's been in the studio for 6 hours doing live link-ups with BBC Norfolk and Radio 2 and all of these stuff. And we were the last one at the end of a very long day for him. And we told you only got 15 minutes. That always puts me on edge. You've only got 15 minutes. And here's a trick for you interviewers. If you're getting on quite well with the person and you've only got 15 minutes, at 14 minutes, ask a really long, detailed question that will give an involved answer. And if you're getting on with the person that you're interviewing, they will answer the question, even if the person who's timing it is tapping their watch. I remember doing that. I learnt that trick when I went to Los Angeles, and I had to interview the cast of Lost. And I had to interview... Who's the guy who's a bit of a knob? The bloke who played Jack in Lost. I can't remember his name. Isn't it funny? It was so important at the time. And they said, you've only got 4 minutes with him. You've only got 4 minutes. I think I've flown all this way for 4 minutes with him. And so, as they were... No, maybe it was 5 minutes. And they give you a signal when you've got a minute and when you've got 30 seconds. And so when they got to the 30 seconds, I thought, right. And I asked a really dull question that I knew that this pompous actor would spend hours answering. And I said, what was it? It was something like, when you're acting... So when you're acting, how difficult is it for you to get into character, and what techniques do you use? Something like that. Matthew Fox, that was it. Really arrogant git. And you could see the PR woman's face just drop. And she was sat behind him. He couldn't see her, and she's doing the wind-up thing. And he went on for about 3 or 4 minutes answering this really long, boring, pompous answer about this ridiculous question. Matthew Fox was a strange man. Another time I had to interview him on the set of Lost in Hawaii. And I was told by the makeup woman they used to play a game called Matthew Wants. And if they had a new person, a new runner come to work on the set, they'd say, yeah, Matthew wants a Coke. Could you go and take him a Coke, please? And they go, oh, yeah, sure. And the new person would go and knock on Matthew Fox's trailer. He'd open the door. What do you want? Here's your Coke, Mr. Fox. I don't want a Coke. I don't want anyone to disturb me. Get out of here. He's 50, is he? Well. Maybe he's learnt some manners by now. There's a brilliant... Why am I going off on a Matthew Fox rant? There's a brilliant bit, and there's one of those terrible teen comedies. It's the one where the fat stoner boy gets a lady pregnant. Of course, she's having a baby or something. I don't know. And there's a really funny gag in it that's only funny if you've ever met Matthew Fox. And she works for he's the fat stoner boy that he always is. And she works for, like, the E! Entertainment channel or something. And they've run out of conversation, and she says, well, don't you want to ask me about my job? He goes, yeah. Have you met Matthew Fox? Yeah, of course. Can you ask him why he's such a dick? And it sums him up perfectly, and it's such a tiny little joke that you'd only get if you'd ever met him. I'm rambling. I'll shut up. 0344 499 1000. I'm Iain Lee. This is Talk Radio.
Late night Iain Lee. Unfiltered night talk with the original king of unconventional conversation on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
0344 499 1000. Tony Robinson's coming on our show as well. We'll do it better. We'll do Tony Robinson better. We'll have him and we'll do him better. I'm looking forward to that. Ty!
Ian!
Hip, hip, hip.
Oh, hip, 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 mate. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Are
you a bit better than last week?
I can't remember. How was I last week? Was I bad?
Yeah, you weren't very happy. You were cancelling your thing with Angelos.
Oh yeah, I did. I cancelled. I was supposed to be the opening act for Barry and Angelos this Saturday, and I've cancelled that, and I'm really sorry, and I feel bad because I've let them down.
That's all right.
And here's the thing. I'm doing my show on Sunday, Iain Lee versus Radio. And I'm doing one in Luton on this Sunday, and then one in St Albans. I think I've got the right way around, on the 20th. And it's a show that I did last year. And I'm really acutely aware that a lot of people that are coming will probably have seen the show before and have probably got the CD. So I'm kind of like adding loads of new bits. I'm trying to update it. And I'm worried now that what had eventually became, when I finished it late last year, it was a honed 90-minute roller coaster ride of laughs and tears and all kinds of emotions. And now I think it might be a little bit of a car crash.
Why?
Because I've not road tested the new bits, and I've kind of had to, because I've put these new bits in, I've had to take a couple of bits out and jiggle a couple of bits around, and the kind of the smooth flow of it, I think, has gone. And also, I don't know if the new bits are particularly interesting.
I think you just turn up and sort of have the performance ring approach.
Yeah, it's easy to do when you're only on stage for 3 minutes and you're going to get somebody else to come on.
No, but I mean, what I mean is you're going to have a friendly audience and a room full of love, and people that are going to go there are going to want to see you, and you'll be sort of well received.
It's funny doing this, and we're filming it on Sunday, by the way. But we may put it out at some point. I don't know, but it's moments like this, the build-up to shows, that I remember why I stopped doing live shows, because I hate it. I hate the anxiety before. This is like 4 days before it, and I'm a nervous wreck, and it'll be all right. You've
got a whole sort of pit in your stomach thing going on.
Yeah, totally. And I'm not. Well, actually, I say I'm not sleeping. I slept until about 12 o'clock today, so I'm sleeping. I don't know. It's a funny old time.
Well, but you're feeling better apart from the anxiety about the show. Are you feeling better in yourself than when I spoke to you last week? Generally,
no. I'm faking it better.
Oh, good.
I'm faking it better. So that's that's all right.
Yeah, well, fake it till you make it, or just fake it and sort of carry on, don't you?
Exactly.
Highlights for me this week, Ian.
Yes.
As we just touched on it, was Performance Ring. I loved it.
Oh.
And then I really loved Hassan coming on your show.
He was good, wasn't he? For those who missed it,
great.
Hassan was a performer at Performance Ring, and he was kind of like doing. Let's sum it up in 2 words and completely demean his act. Funny poems. He was so good that we and so slick that we invited him. Catherine and I invited him to come into the studio, and he was brilliant.
Yeah,
I think he's absolutely brilliant.
Spoken word stuff. I loved him. I thought he was excellent. I mean,
in a year, he's going to be someone. I'm sure of it. He's too talented not to be.
It was very clever. What I thought was interesting when you got him in the studio was I didn't realise when I saw him on Performance Ring, he sort of has been out performing and doing stuff.
Yeah.
I thought he just walked out of his living room onto the stage.
he's one of the ones, and we're trying to make it a nice mix, Performance Ring, of people that have never done it before and people that might have done it quite a few times. Actually, I'm not averse to that at all. There's no rule that they've got to be amateurs. The lineup for December the 11th. Someone had to pull out, and I was one act short, but I think we've got enough acts. We might have, and I need to check because he said on Twitter he'd do it, but we might have a guy called Thomas Walsh, who is a listener, so he counts, but he's in a group called Pugwash. Now, Pugwash are flipping brilliant. And he lives in Ireland, and he might, if I can persuade him, he might come and do a couple of songs for us on Skype. Pugwash are brilliant, and Thomas Walsh is brilliant. Thomas Walsh was in a spin-off group with Neil Hannon from the Divine Comedy, the Duckworth-Lewis method. So people might know him from that. And he's also a brilliant pop. It's a real pop show tonight, which is good. He's a brilliant pop singer-songwriter, and hopefully, fingers crossed, he might do a couple of songs via Skype.
I'll be looking forward to, and I'm glad you scoped that, because I live, miles away, so I can't come, and so I'll be looking to tune in again for the next one.
We're looking at doing one in Manchester at some point. It's just finding a venue. If anyone knows of a venue in Manchester that is cheap or free, and it's a really niche request, and is available on, it's got to be like a Sunday night, really, that holds 60 to 80 people, send me an email, ian@ianlee.com, because we'd love to go and, we realise it's a little bit London-centric, and it would be nice to try it out of London and see if, A, we could find enough acts, and B, we could find an audience that would...
Is that how many people were at the London one?
In the London one, I think in the end we had about 100 including all the acts and stuff, yeah.
Because I'm telling you, it's funny, obviously on Scope, you've got the camera, you've got your phone up quite close. Yeah. But honestly, it just looked like someone's living room.
Well, really? Oh, that's good. I'm glad it worked on Periscope.
Oh, yeah, it did. I mean, we couldn't see the screen and everything, but the rest of it...
that's the problem with the... And by the way, final word on this, and then we'll crack on with your Apprentice update. If there are any acts listening... we might still have one space for the Christmas show, but we've certainly got spaces for the show in February. And it can be anything. Stand-up, singing, that's great. And if you want to do that, that's brilliant. If you want to do something that's a little bit off the wall, maybe you've made a short film, or you want to show us your holiday snaps, or you've always fancied having a go at ventriloquism and you've never done it, or... we had a guy pushing a wheelbarrow. We've got a guy who's going to eat custard. And I think in February we've got some people that are going to come and play conkers on stage. You can do literally anything. It's got to be between 8 and 12 minutes.
The wheelbarrow guys were good.
Dredgeland, they were brilliant. They came and interviewed me. John and Andy, they came and interviewed me yesterday for a podcast they're putting out.
They've done that before, because that was a bit polished. With their little
do you know they haven't? They do
Really?
They do podcasts. They do a lot of podcasts. Look up Dredgeland. I think individually they've done stand-up, but they've never done like a stupid, silly sketch before as a duo.
It worked really well.
Yeah, didn't it?
I thought they were really slick. Yeah, they were great.
Oh, they'll be pleased to hear that. Good. I'm sure they're listening. I'm sure they're listening. If they're not, then up theirs. Anyway, Ty, we are looking for your Apprentice update. What have you got?
Oh, Apprentice update. So it was a fairly sort of bland week in terms of highlights, but I've got to get it straight out there. Did you watch any of it?
Do you know what? I was trying to... I was so bored by the first few minutes that I started working on the show for Sunday. So, and I watched bits of it. It was a bit dull.
Can I just say you did the right thing? It wasn't the most exciting episode. It was fairly dull. So we've got some... First of all, I've got to get to it. Question of the week from the Dippy Baker. Are you ready?
Yeah, go on.
Is Morocco in Turkey?
Is Morocco in Turkey? I saw that bit. Utter prunes.
Beautiful. And the thing is, no one else could say, no, it's not. They were just like, duh, is it? Anyway, so that's question of the week. Is Morocco in... It was fairly dull. It was all about discounting. They had to go and do an all-nighter. You knew that was coming on as soon as they said... at the house. 30 p.m. They're all having a day off. Bang, you know they're going to get sort of thrown into a night shift. So you get thrown into a night shift. And it was, you're right, it's fairly dull. Around London, trying to buy stuff, getting the best prices, do your discount negotiation and stuff. So itself, the task wasn't that exciting. Karen this week was fantastic, especially in the boardroom. She was like a nunchucker, but with her eyes and with her mouth.
What? She was like a nunchucker with her eyes and with her mouth.
Yeah, man, she was throwing out barbs with her eyes. They were beautiful because she's got a stare on her. She really has.
Yeah.
She's sort of taken over from Nick Hewer. She's got the look. And then she had a few sort of verbals as well, just to cut some people down. So she was a bit of a star this week. She was very good. You had the usual suspects. You knew, I'm going straight to the point, mate. You knew he was going within the first 3 minutes. As soon as they got together to choose PM and Aardman, they just kept cutting to her, not stepping up to be PM.
Yeah.
And after last week, she was like, "Look, I'm going to be PM. You're going to see how brilliant." So she goes into their room, and they're saying, "Right, who's going to be PM?" And they just kept cutting to her, sort of looking sheepish. You knew that she went. I'll get straight to the point. She went.
Boom.
So other highlights, Geezer Paul, he had a pretty good show. He was bombing around East London, you know, because it's his manor and stuff. Aardman, I've got to tell you, mate, the thing that did it for her, she got on the phone. I don't know if you saw this, but she got on the phone. She was trying to find a tagine and black soap.
When is it going to get interesting? When are they going to start doing some interesting stuff again?
Let me just tell you this quickly. She's going to find tagine and soap. She calls up this kind of international supermarket an hour and a half away in Streatham. They're like, yeah. She turns up. The guy takes her to a shelf with tahini and soup.
Ladies and gentlemen, Ty, excellent work as always. Thank you very much indeed. Spoiler alert. Probably should have said that first.
Across the UK, online and on DAB.
Late night, Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
CJ! Because busy on the phone. Lee and Triss, I promise I'll get to you. The phones have been really busy tonight. CJ, sir, what have you got for us?
I was wondering if I could find you a place in Manchester to do this performance ring.
I don't know. Can you find us a place in Manchester to do a performance ring?
In the summer, I did an event very similar to Performance Ring. We're working with loads of musicians and performers and magicians and all sorts of different things. And I can get you a free venue easily, not a problem.
Hang on a minute. What's the catch?
Nothing.
Hey.
Zero. Absolutely nothing.
Nothing at all. All right then. Well, let us know. Well, hang on a minute. Send it. Can we get? This is suddenly too easy. I'm speechless.
I know, but I don't do it for anything. I do it because I enjoy doing this sort of thing.
Yeah. Well, what venue? Have you got a venue in mind then?
I've got a list, to be honest. And
baby.
The way we did it in the summer, I just went up to these places and went, "Hey, can we do our show here?" And they're like, "Yeah, go on then, why not?" And we did, and it was a massive success.
What was your show then? What did you do?
I basically stole Britain's Got Talent. Basically stole that, but we were more light-hearted with it and more.
Well, I think he stole that from Opportunity Knocks.
Exactly, which my old tutor used to work on. So there you go.
There you go. You see, so it's your idea.
Imagine it. But imagine Britain's Got Talent, but the clientele was 200 bikers.
Oh, bloody hell!
Yeah, it was hectic.
Britain's got motorbikes. Well, I tell you what, CJ.
Yep.
Could you send me an email? Have you got my email address?
It's iainlee@iainlee.com.
Incorrect data. It's ian@iainlee.com.
Right, okay, I'll write that down.
Send me an email and we'll have a little chat and we'll see what we can sort out. That'll be really helpful, man. Thank you.
Fantastic. I'd love to do this.
Nice one, CJ.
Brilliant.
Thank you, man. I'll speak to you later on. Cheers, Midiz.
Bye.
Bye-bye. What just happened there? Hang on a minute. The whole world is falling on its arse. And someone just did a nice thing. I don't understand it. Triss.
Hip, hip.
Hip, hip, hip.
Well, it's been a while. My hip, hip, hip was a little bit off there, wasn't it?
Well, these things happen.
Yeah, how you been?
You know, up and down, swimming against the tide, but you know, still keeping my head above water.
Still
swimming.
Yeah. I phoned in to talk about the Eels, but that seems like years ago now, doesn't it?
No, I'm going to play. Do you know? I'm going to play that song in a bit, right? Was it things that you should tell your grandchildren? Because it's an amazing song. Oh, it had me in floods of tears, and I wonder if I can listen to it again without crying, because it was absolutely brilliant. I know very little about Rupert Everett from the Eels.
Thank
you.
Everett.
That's it.
Yeah.
But I've just before the show, I started watching that documentary where his dad came up with the theory of parallel universes.
That's right.
Which is nuts. So I'm just watching the documentary about that, and
There's one of his tracks that always sort of moves me on Hombro Lobo. The look you give that guy, do you know that one?
I don't know that one. I only know Blinking Lights album and Eels with Strings, and that's it.
Oh, Blinking Lights is brilliant, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it's great. It's good.
9 years piecing that together, or something ridiculous.
Yeah.
Also, I've got something new in my life. I have acquired...
A sexually transmitted disease. What do we call them now? Because it used to be like VD, and then it was STDs, and now it's STIs. Is it disease or an infection? What the hell is going on down there?
I don't really know the difference, but I'm more than willing to find out.
Thank you very much indeed.
If you need the research. No, I've got myself a numbered white album. Hand stamp mono numbered white album.
Well, hang on a minute. What number is it?
Well, it's 0904252.
Thanks very much for calling, Tris. Bye-bye. Let's go to Lee. Yes, Lee.
Good evening, boss.
Good evening, boss.
I thought my phone was going to die of battery, you know.
That's life. It's hard on the... We're getting loads of phone calls, which is brilliant.
Good.
Brilliant.
Good. Anyway.
Yes.
This might hit you from two angles, this one, because I know you like time travel movies.
Uh-oh.
The gentleman who was talking about, like, space-age weapons earlier.
Well, not space-age, they're current-age weapons.
Right,
Psychotronic weapons.
Okay, I'll rephrase that as unusual kind of sci-fi-ish weapons.
Well, it's not science fiction. These are real weapons.
All right. Anyway, do you remember the Biggles movie? The time-travelling Biggles movie from the 80s?
I'm aware of it. I've seen the trailer, but I didn't watch the film itself, yes.
The Germans had a very scary sound weapon that vaporised people when they blasted sound at them.
Oh.
Yeah, that was sci-fi, I'm afraid. That one's not real.
Well, thank God the Germans don't have such weapons, didn't have such weapons in World War II.
Well, exactly, because they were time-travelling, you see, so you should watch that one. Put it on your time-travel list.
I will. I will do. It's on there.
It's a bit pants, but it's worth watching.
Oh, well, don't recommend... I've already watched... I seem to be going through a stream of crappy films at the moment. I don't quite know why. Maybe my wires have fizzled and I'm not enjoying films that perhaps I normally would enjoy. Although I started watching Ant-Man today.
Oh.
But then my internet movie provider kept crashing, so I only got 10 minutes into it before I gave up.
Other internet movie providers are available.
That literally doesn't mean anything, but thank you. Nice one, Lee. Thank you very much. 0344 499 1000.
Late night conversation worth losing sleep over. Iain Lee.
On air and off the leash.
On Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
So isn't iPod Shuffle amazing? Amazing. My iPod has got, I don't know, 22,000 songs on there. And there's a lot of stuff on there that I don't remember buying. I don't know how I got. Don't know what it's doing there. And every now and then, Shuffle will remind me that there is there is music out there that I really like, but I've forgotten about, and it's a joy. It's an absolute joy. And tonight, I had one of those moments. I had one of those moments where a song popped up, and I thought, oh, I forgot, I like this band, and I'd forgotten all about the song. I've got a feeling I might have played it when I was at BBC Three Counties. I don't know. It rings a bell, but I've certainly not listened to it for a couple of years. And it's by the Eels. And the Eels are this strange... Well, I don't really know anything about them. I read a little bit about them on Wikipedia, the home of the made-up fact. But if you don't know the Eels, basically it's a guy called Mark Everett we've established this evening, who has an amazing way of describing in song what it feels like to be alive. And that's a really, really hard thing to do. It's a really, really hard thing to do. To actually, accurately, in the space of a few lines, capture the essence of being alive. The good stuff and the lousy stuff. Now, I read up a little bit about Mark Everett, and his life has been touched by tragedy. I think his mum died of cancer, I'm not sure. His sister committed suicide. I don't know how his dad died. I didn't quite get that far. But a lot of the songs are about relationships of sons and fathers. And I make up that he didn't really know a lot about his dad. He didn't really either get on with his dad or sit down and actually talk with his dad. And there's a brilliant documentary that I've just started watching where he kind of goes off to try and investigate and find out about his dad and stuff. And that's great. But this song that came on to the iPod, oh, man, it was transcendent. That's the word. It was transcendent. I was in my car on the A40, stuck in traffic, and it'd been a really weird journey because some guy, when I was in Slough, some guy pretended to jump in front of my car. It was the weirdest thing. This guy just kind of pretended to jump in front of my car. And so I was in a weird kind of headspace anyway, and not quite sure. I was flustered, and I was a little bit angry, right? And the radio was boring. I didn't want to listen to Sam. Normally listen to 4 Extra at 6 o'clock, but they were doing the Bram Stoker story, which I wasn't really interested in. LBC was all about Trump. It was all Trump or Stoker. the two go hand in hand. So I put my iPod on. I don't really put my iPod on in the car because it's fiddly. I have to do a lead and stuff. This song came on, right? It's called Things the Grandchildren Should Know. Boom. What a title. Already. Things the grandchildren should know. And he's got it was a live version of the song. I'm going to play the original version of it in a second. And I have no idea how old this gentleman was when he recorded this, but he has got a real raspy, kind of Dennis Wilson type voice. It's a voice of someone who has lived. You know, it's a real powerful voice. And every line in this song was me. Literally every line. You know, normally you get a song, right, and you can think, oh, that's about me and the girl that I fancy, or that's about me and my husband, that verse. But that's it. Or the chorus. Or you might hear a song and you go, oh, that the second verse describes me a bit. Or that last half of the chorus, that's me. Every word in this song is me. And it was spooky. It was really spooky. And I have heard this song before, but I don't think I've ever quite connected with it. Sometimes you have to find music at the right time. You know, sometimes you can listen to an album, it doesn't have an impact. 3 years later, you put it on, oh, wow, how did I miss this? And this song, I got the lyrics here, right? I'm going to play it in a minute, right? I'm going to play it. And I tweeted it. So if you follow me on Twitter, some of you may have heard it already. And a couple of people, including, here we go. Scott Balcony and Paul Ross both got in touch and said, wow, that song's a bit of me. It's a bit of Paul Ross. It's a bit of Scott Balcony. It's all of me, right? It literally describes my life. I got a dog. It sounds silly when I'm going to recite it, but this is it. I got a dog. I take him for a walk, and all the people like to say hello. I'm used to staring down at the sidewalk cracks. I'm learning how to say hello without too much trouble. Boom. That's me. I hate saying hello to people. And when you're out with a dog, everybody says hello. Oh, God. Morning. Afternoon. Oh, I hate it. Listen to this. This is me. I don't leave the house much. I don't like being around people. Makes me nervous and weird. I don't like going to shows either. It's better for me to stay home. Some might think it means I hate people, but that's not quite right. Isn't it funny? Now, some of you will be going, oh, that sounds rubbish. And that's fine. It's not meant for you. Some of you will be going, oh, yeah, that's touching something. And then there's the bit, and there's the bit about his dad. And already I'm welling up thinking about this bit about his dad. And my dad was a very complicated man. He was an absolutely terrible dad to me and my sister. Terrible, terrible dad. Not that he beat us or abused us sexually or anything like that. He just was a liar. He was a liar, and he would go off and he would have lots of affairs, and he would father lots of children with other women. So as a dad, I mean, he may have been a great dad to some of these other kids. I don't really know. Right. And I hated him for a long, long time. I hated him and didn't talk to him and stuff. And then I started to when I had my own kids, I started to make peace with him. And then, of course, he went and died, didn't he? Selfish bugger. But as I get older, I kind of understand where he was coming from. I still disapprove of his behaviour. I still think the way he treated my mum was appalling. And then listen to these lines that this guy has written, and it's about me. It's about me. I'm turning out just like my father, though I swore I never would. Now I can say that I have a love for him I never really understood. What it must have been like for him living inside his head. Boom. Flippin' heck. Even just reading that out loud. What's that? That's 6 lines. That's 6 lines, right? And that totally sums up how I feel about my dad. And how he was terrible, but I can understand why he was terrible, because he was terrible, because he was flawed. Terribly sad when he was dying. He was dying. He was literally in his deathbed in the living room. And my stepmum, who I'd never met until I found out he was dying, had to work like a shift on who could come and visit my dad, and they would have to leave by past because such and such was coming on top of the hour, and they didn't want to meet. And it was a nightmare, absolute nightmare. This is a man on his deathbed, and his wife's having to sort. Anyway, this song, like no other, has kind of got me in the solar plexus, the soul, man. And I'm not going to play it to my boys now. They're 6 and 4. They'd go, well, can we dance to it? No, not really. It's not really a dancey type song. But when they're older, when they're old enough to kind of get these things, I'm going to sit them down and I'm going to play this song. And I'm going to apologise for all the mistakes I've made, and apologise for all the mistakes I will make from that point onwards. And I'll say, but, guys, this song is me. And maybe it will kind of click with them and they'll get it. I don't know. Anyway, should we play it? It's going to make me cry. I know it'll make me cry. Here we go. There.
I go to bed real early Everybody thinks it's strange. I get up early in the morning. No matter how disappointed I was with the day before, it feels new. I don't leave the house much. I don't like being around people. Makes me nervous and weird. I don't like going to shows either. It's better for me to stay home. Some might think it means I hate people, but that's not quite right. I do some stupid things, but my heart's in the right place, and this I know. I got a dog, I take him for a walk, and all the people like to say hello. I'm used to staring down at the sidewalk cracks. I'm learning how to say hello without too much trouble. I'm turning out just like my father, though I swore I never would. Now I can say that I have love for him. I never really understood what it must have been like for him, living inside his head. I feel like he's here with me now, even though he's dead. It's not all good and it's not all bad. And don't believe everything you read. I'm the only one who knows what it's like. So I thought I'd better tell you before I leave. To say that I'm a very thankful man. I tried to make the most of my situations and enjoy what I had. I knew true love and I knew passion, and the difference between the two. And I had some regrets, but if I had to do it all again, well, it's something I'd like to do.
Late night, Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
0344 499 1000 is the telephone number. Kath, you want to come in? Or my mate to come and sit in with me, please. But he's not here. So Catherine can come in instead. How's about them apples? 0344 499 1000 is the phone number. Tony!
Hello, how are you, Ian?
I'm good, Tony. What you got for us?
Well, I just heard that song, and it was really beautiful.
Did it click with you? Because it's not going to click. There'll be some people who hated it, and that's fine.
No. Well, I heard what you said beforehand, and I recently lost my mum, and we had a very complicated relationship, and I think if there are things that happen after you lose a parent, and also when you are a parent, that you can only. There are things you can only appreciate when you become a parent.
Yeah.
And I think there's things you can only appreciate when you lose a parent.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And I think a song like that, for example, only makes sense to people, I think, that have lost a parent and who have a complicated relationship.
I'm wondering if any families are normal. Do you know what I mean? Because the more people I talk to, the more I kind of think everybody's families are really hard work. And I don't think I know anybody that's got an inverted commas normal family.
Oh dear. Well, I'm about to burst your bubble.
Go on, go on then.
My partner.
Yeah.
Well, you and Kath, do you remember the other night when you were doing the alphabet?
The alphabet of callers, of course.
And I woke up my partner. I was tea.
Yes, you had to wake him up. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, I woke him up because, of course, I knew you were trying to get to the end.
Yes.
And you got the call about your mum.
Yeah. Oh,
and then you had to go to Kath.
Yeah.
And I was really hoping there were other people in the wings and we were going to get to the end.
I think we got... Didn't we get to you? You was the last one, I think.
No, I was the last one because I was T.
Yeah.
And then you said, oh, is there any way you can find an F?
We did. We got to
That was my partner in bed because he's a Spurgeon.
Yeah.
Oh, that was
So
it. It was
I
a
was gonna wake
Spurgeon.
him
You woke him up and he was... he was... well, you kind of woke him up, yes.
No, I definitely woke him up.
He was not awake when we spoke to him. That was not...
No, that's what I mean. He was not. But
Yeah.
I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
Right. He has got a perfect family.
I don't believe you.
No, I tell you, I'm not... Ian, this isn't even what I phoned about.
He gets on with his mum and dad?
Yes.
Properly?
Yes.
There's no...
No.
Has he got brothers and sisters?
Yes.
What's he got?
It's all good. It's all good.
Wow. Well,
We've been together 20 years.
Yeah.
Well, you know, there's one thing that you haven't explored. It's him. He's the weird one.
I haven't explored him.
No, I'm saying he's the weird one.
I think
Okay,
Tony
you
has explored
thoroughly,
him. Yes. All the nooks and crannies.
Oh,
So
God.
why did I... Oh, Ian.
Yes?
We must not digress because
No.
I have to call... Well, we can. It's your show. You can do whatever you like.
Well, it's but if you want to not digress, it's your call. You don't have to.
I think, as I've told you before, I've got ADHD, so I will digress at
Yes.
any given moment.
Yes.
But the reason I called was that song.
Yeah.
You must play it to your sons.
I think, well...
In the car.
They
Well,
won't-
don't need to tell them why.
They won't get it yet.
But,
No, they won't. But...
well, no, I might play it to them, but they won't hear it. They won't hear... but they know that I find songs emotional because, there was a song... What was the song? There was a song that came up in the car and I said, oh, this makes me cry, and I can't think what it was. And they were reminded that there's that song that you don't like that makes me cry, Kath. The one about... soon I'll be 30.
Oh, I hate
My
that song.
daddy made 60. My woman brings me babies. I'm gonna make up stories. Do you know that song, Tony?
No, but before you cut me off, I have to get... Do you mind?
Yeah.
No, because...
Do you mind? Do you mind?
No, but you do have you do weave and And
I'm not ADHD.
Moment,
I'm not.
You're not weaving at the moment.
No, I'm waiting for you to get back. You're the one that's weaving.
Okay. So, have you seen the film Guardians of the Galaxy?
I watched the first 20 minutes of it. I thought it was crap.
So did I, but I went to the cinema, so I had to watch it to the end.
It's the one where he's. It's a Marvel film, and he was kidnapped as a baby in the 80s, and he goes around space listening to a Walkman. Boring.
Yeah, but that's the only good thing about it.
Right. Yeah.
Right. So, this is the thing.
Are we close to the thing now?
This is the thing.
Okay.
Right. He has something called. His mum leads in something called. I can't remember what his name is, but his awesome mix.
Right.
And I've done this for my son because he's 20 now, and over the years we've played songs.
Yeah.
And they range from the Chili Peppers and U2 and the Gilly Motts and Hot House Flowers and all sorts. But I put it on something called Tori's Awesome Mix.
Who's Tori?
That's my son.
Oh, okay, right. Your name's Tony and his name's Tori.
Yeah, and my son's name and his dad's name's Rory. And this was before.
Are you old enough, Tony? Are you? I think you are old enough to remember Rory. Tell us a story.
Yeah. But Rory's.
Do you remember that, Kath?
No. This is another thing. He's not actually Rory. Oh. He's Rory. He's RUARRI.
Rory. Tell us a story.
Yeah, and my son is Tori.
Yeah.
TAURI. But anyway, we digress again.
So you've made him a playlist, a mixtape.
Yes, and that's what I was going to come back to you to say. So what I've done over the years with my son, literally, he left the hospital to Born Slippy by Underworld.
Oh, blimey.
No, that's true.
That's brilliant. Well done. Yeah, good work.
True.
Good work.
I know, and that is true. Since the day he was born, I've spoken to him about music.
Yeah.
And over the years, we have tunes that we relate to, and this is coming back to the point with you.
Oh.
If you play that song to them now, they may not hear it.
Yes.
They may not. They'll listen, but they may not hear it. But eventually, one day, they will.
Yes. Maybe. Maybe not.
No, but they will.
Well, they might not. The thing about music is they might not see the things that I see in it.
Oh, but this is the thing, Ian. They do.
More than
it's like my mum. My mum played me Johnny Mathis.
Oh.
And I love Johnny Mathis.
Johnny Mathis. Life is a song worth singing. Why don't you sing it? Do you have another one?
Did he used to be a milkman?
No, that's Matt Monro, who used to be a milkman. Johnny Mathis recently came out as a gay man.
Recently?
Yeah, recently.
Oh, I think I've known that for a while.
Who can do a good Johnny Mathis?
When a child is born.
Hang on a minute.
Oh, Ian.
Hang on. No, Tony,
Ian.
shut up. We're having a Mathis off. Hang on.
All right, go on. But I was going to tell you something about Slough.
When a child is born. Ed's coming in. Ed.
When a child is born.
Tony, shut up. We missed Ed. Shut up. Shut right.
Okay, this is going to be my B-side then.
Go.
When a child is born.
Kath?
When a child is born.
We're doing Johnny Mathis, yeah?
Oh, I was doing Cher.
Tony, your turn.
When a child is born.
03444991000. It's a Mathis off.
When a child is born.
When a child is born.
Ian, can I tell you quickly?
Please.
I bought the song sheet for that in a shop next door to Tommy's Magic Shoe Shop, or whatever it was called.
It wasn't called Tommy's Magic Shoe Shop. What
was it called?
It was just like Tommy's Magic Shop up the end of the high street.
No, but it was shoe shop. I'm going to have to go.
Thank you. Yes, she's right. Of course she could.
Is anyone else exhausted?
Only her jaw. Sorry about that, Rory. You don't remember Rory? Tell us a story.
No.
Bungo, Rory, twang and boots.
No.
Okay. So, the rest of the show is a Mathis off. When a child is born. Oh, shall I do my Trump?
No, not anymore.
Why? No,
it stinks.
No, not that. My impression of the...
Oh.
I'm not very good with the voice.
You've got to do square mouth.
Well, I'm American.
No.
Well, I'm gonna. Hang on, I was doing it really well earlier on in my head.
She's a nasty woman.
No, don't. No.
What a nasty woman.
No, because he says something, then he'll echo it. He echoes himself. So he goes, I'm gonna be, you dirty rat. I'm gonna be the best president of America, the best. I'm gonna be the baddest. I'm gonna. So he's in the restaurant. He's in McDonald's. I want to have a Big Mac meal, biggest Mac's meal. I'm gonna eat that thing so bad, and I want a vanilla milkshake. I'm gonna drink that milkshake so bad. He echoes. It's not as good as it was, but I'm tired. All right, so it's not as good as it was 4 hours ago when I came in and I blew your mind with my excellent Trump impression.
It was
It was better than it was then.
Slightly.
I'm good at impressions. I think if I had the patience, CJ's done a poster for Performance Ring Manchester.
He's into this.
Blimey, all right. Calm down, lad. Anyway, I think if I had the patience, 0344 499 1000, I could be up there with the greatest impressionists.
What, Mike Yarwood?
Yeah. Well, no, Mike. Who's the fella? Who's the gentleman?
McGowan.
Yeah, McGowan. McGowan's great. Ancona's great. Colshaw is great.
Yeah.
Ravens.
Serafinovich.
Yeah. I could be, and this is the thing, I could be better than all of those guys. I just can't be bothered.
No.
Can't be bothered.
That sounds a lot like Trump, what you're saying there. Do that in his voice.
I guess can't be bothered. I'm going to be.
Could be the greatest.
0344 499 1000. This is Talk Radio.
Late night Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
Yes. 0344 499 1000 is the telephone number if you want to give us a call. CJ's been in touch, sent me an email, so I'll have a look at that tomorrow at some point. And
I think he can do it. He was talking. He's the man.
He's the man. He's the man with a plan. We're going to play Rossi tonight?
Yeah.
Do you want to play Rossi tonight?
Why not?
Right.
Or unless you'd rather save him.
We've saved him for a fortnight.
Yeah.
Might as well put him out of his misery. It's a good.
It was good.
It was good, wasn't he?
Yeah. And you've got a bit of a bootleg tied on the front.
Yep. Who else? We haven't got anyone. We need to have a little. We've got a gentleman called Bay Logan coming on, who's in Hong Kong. Talk about Rossi.
Oh,
yeah. He's going to come on at some point. Setting out a date for him. Oh, I've got a gentleman. Thanks to John Dredge who put me in. Who let me know this was going on. There's a thing going on at the. It's at the South Bank. It's a weekend called Being a Man.
Oh.
And we've got someone's going to come on and talk about that. About what it, I don't quite know what it is, but from what I've looked at, it looks like it might tie in with some of the themes that we've addressed over the past few weeks. So we'll get someone.
Tell you who else is coming in, and that's next week.
Yep.
Matt Haig.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Is it next week?
Yeah.
What date?
Off the top of my head, I want to say the 15th. But
I think you said the 15th. That's another book I've got to read quickly then.
Hang on. Well, no, he said you'll talk about anything.
Yeah, I know, but I want to have read the book. Brilliant. Matt Haig is brilliant.
Let me check.
Matt wrote Reasons to Stay Alive. He also wrote The Boy Who Saved Christmas.
And a girl
called Christmas.
No, A Boy Called Christmas, The Girl Who Saved Christmas.
He also wrote a brilliant book called The Humans. He's brilliant.
Yeah, 15th, Tuesday.
Brilliant. That's not next week, though. Oh, it is. Bloody hell. We've also got... I need to chase it up. I'm trying to read the book. Whenever we get a guest on, I try and read the book before they come on. This, and you every time I mention it, you go, ooh. That Marion Partington, who's written this brilliant book called If You Sit Very Still, her sister, Lucy, was one of the victims of Fred and Rose West.
Good grief.
And the kind of the first half of her book is her kind of detailing what happened when she went missing and how they reacted when they found out. You didn't find out for 20 years that it happened. And then the second half is kind of like her spiritual journey. She became a Quaker. Interestingly, Lucy, I think I've got this right, Lucy, the sister, converted to Catholicism. I think she went missing in 1973 or 4.
Was she one of the hitchhikers, didn't
Yeah. She was getting a bus.
Right.
And they
Gave her a
think
lift.
that they offered her a lift. Interestingly, she converted to Catholicism 5 weeks before she was abducted. And Marion converted to being a Quaker 5 weeks before she found out, almost to the day, what had happened to Lucy. It's really weird. And there's a piece in there, I won't read it now because we've had quite a heavy show so far. Well, I'll come to you in a minute. But there's a description in there, because they don't know what happened at the end. All they know is some bones were found under the concrete. And there's a paragraph where she keeps writing to Lucy, and she writes this paragraph basically saying, I don't know what happened to you, I don't know what they did to you, I don't know what you heard, what they said to you, what filth they put upon you. It's just the way she writes, it's beautiful, this real acceptance. And she wrote a letter, Marion Partington wrote a letter to Rose West when she was in prison, and she never got a reply, and she was told not to write anymore. And it's the humility of the woman is incredible. So we're going to interview her. I might go and meet her and do it, somewhere, because anyway, it's an incredible book, and it's kind of, you feel privileged to read this woman's story, the fact that she shared it, and it's grim, absolutely grim. 0344 499 1000. There was someone else I've got lined up, but I can't think. Ooh.
Well, Tony Robinson's still in the offing, isn't he?
Yes! Tony Robinson. We'll do a better job of that than Breckers. We'll do a better job of that. Seinfeld nicking our guests.
Never mind, different audience, isn't it?
Well, they've got an audience. That's the main thing. Ray!
Hip, hip, hip.
Hip, hip, hip. What you got for us, Ray?
What kind of cake? Fish cake.
Thank you very much indeed.
Okay, you're having Johnny Mathis off.
Yes.
When a child is born.
Okay, well, that's your voice. Now do it in Johnny Mathis's.
When a child is born.
It's slightly different, yeah.
Well, very
It sounds a bit more like Barry Gibb, I know.
It does.
No, that'd be when a child is born.
That was poor. That was poor, Ray. That was poor.
Very poor.
Is that it? I'm going to assume that's it. I try. Can you email again? Sorry, I've got people asking, but lots of people emailing about Performance Ring, and I try and reply to all of them, but I can't reply to all of them. But I try, and so yes, thank you very much indeed. 0344 499 1000 is the telephone number, and we're in that kind of lull now. The post midnight,
the pre-Rossi lull.
The pre-Rossi lull. Let's have a little look at some of the papers, shall we? This thing that the Simpsons predicted, they didn't predict it, they just did a skit. It's not that unfeasible.
If that's the case, the Simpsons have predicted a lot of stuff.
It's a little bit lazy, that.
But the thing is, people are running out of things to say. And it's not even nearly January yet.
Here we go. Well, there's a picture of Kylie Jenner covered in blue paint.
Oh.
Cons get high by smoking kid pics.
What? Kid pics?
Kid pics. Kid pics.
What is that?
I'll tell you. Well, this is from... this article is written by Jen Farrow, who is the TV features editor. Well, this is not TV features. This is...
Crime and Punishment, surely.
Oh. A deadly drug is being smuggled into jails on children's drawings, sent to cons in the post. A TV documentary reveals tonight.
Okay.
Liquid Spice, I don't remember her, is sprayed on the pictures so lags can tear off, lags and cons, tear off dried pieces and smoke it with tobacco. Footage filmed by prisoners shows the horror effects of the drug as one con's heart stops after inhaling half a gram of spice. Known inside by the rhyming slang of... Do you know what this drug's nickname is?
Sugar?
No, it's rhyming slang.
Yeah, sugar... Oh, yeah.
Ooh.
Once or twice?
Ooh, you got any Katie?
Katie Price?
Got any Katie? Fancy having a go on Katie. The revelations are made in... A smuggler called Paula is shown spraying liquid spice on a kid's drawing and said, when it's dry, it doesn't smell, and when x-rayed, it doesn't come up. This sheet is worth about 50 quid. Paula, this is brilliant. Makes your heart stop. Wow. Sounds cool, man. Paula, whose real identity is protected by producers. Good for them. Also tells of how mobiles smuggled inside Mars bars. Now, because you can get... I didn't realise you can get tiny mobiles.
Yeah.
Like, you know, get those mini motos. It's like that, but a mobile phone. They can sell for up to £1,000 in prison. They've used cons. They've used lag. Oh, back to lags. Lags then hide the devices in their bottoms. She said, it's got the vibrate bit took out. So there's no metal for the metal detectors to go off. It's small. Nice and neat to put away up their bums.
Flipping it.
I want to go to prison. It sounds brilliant.
Well,
the show, which is on at 10 p.m, also exposes how drone. Oh, they caught
I know.
that ginger idiot.
You call him an idiot now?
Oh, they caught that ginger idiot who escaped from prison. It didn't last outside very long.
There's still one at large, right?
Is there?
Yeah. Isn't there?
Were they mates?
There were two of them.
Ooh.
Just be very careful.
Ed should be very careful. Can we turn Ed's microphone off? And I apologise to anyone offended by that outburst. Ed should not be speaking about our prisoners like that. That really is outrageous behaviour. And I'd like to apologise to... I think his name was Matthew Butler, the ginger one.
No, he was Baker.
Matthew Baker. Sorry, sir. Didn't mean to get your name wrong, sir.
Oh, he's the one that's tucked away now.
Yeah.
It's
Exactly.
the other one you've got to worry about.
No. I've got nothing to worry about. Not me. Because I respect thugs. I've got a lot of respect for thugs, and I respect those guys.
Mm.
So imagine if he is listening in prison, or the one that's in prison is listening, or the one that's outside is listening, and he's going, right, I'm going to get that Lee.
As he chalks another stick on the wall.
I'm going to get that Lee. I'm going to kill him. I'm going to make him mine. Yeah, Ed is right. He's just typed on the screen. Don't tell them we work at 18 Hatfields. No! A prison...
And your name is Paul Ross.
A prison neighbour, yes. I'm Ian Collins, called Charlotte, said they tend to hover around...
Why are you saying Charlotte like that now?
Because, did you notice I did that with Charlotte earlier on?
Yeah, I know, but she didn't.
No, because the more Charlottes I meet...
I've never met a Charlotte. I've only met a Charlotte.
Because you meet common people.
Mm.
I tend to meet quite high-class people, and they call themselves Charlotte.
Well,
and that's how it's spelled.
One does. My mum knew a woman called Deborah, but she'd been Debbie till she got posh.
Charlotte's Web. That was a boring book, wasn't it?
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I thought that when I was a kid, but I read it to my children.
Horrific?
Oh, my goodness, we all cried at the end.
Doesn't the pig get eaten? Is there a pig in it?
The pig does not get eaten.
What happens in Charlotte's Web? So Charlotte's Web is about a spider.
Spider dies.
Good.
But...
bloody spiders.
All her children stay behind.
If I'd have written that book, that spider... Oh, she opens up and they come out, don't they?
No.
Isn't that not what
She
happens?
lays eggs, doesn't she? And Wilbur protects them, and they all go, apart from one who stays to keep him company.
If I...
Some pig.
If I had written that story, it would have been page 1.
Got stamped on.
Yeah, totally. Well, it wouldn't have got stamped on. I've got a very heavy book.
Oh.
Getting a bit bunged up now. Excellent time to take a break.
Uncut after-hours conversation for the up-all-night generation. Late night Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
Now, there are two stories in the newspapers. Gosh, look at Mariah Carey. Look at the state of him. There are two stories. Oh, we'll do that in a minute. Let's go to George first. Yes, George.
Oh, hello. Hi.
Hello, George. Hi.
How are you this evening?
I'm hungry and I'm getting bunged up, but apart from that, I'm great.
Oh, my goodness. I've just been tucking into some strawberries. I've been making my packed lunch for my wife when she goes off to work tomorrow.
Oh, listen to you, you little creep.
I know, showing off.
Well done,
showing
you.
Off.
Well done,
exciting.
you. Isn't that nice?
I've only been listening to you for the last couple of weeks.
Oh, nice one. Thank you, George.
I've been standing here next to the radio, and I thought, well, why not give it a go? How are you?
I'm good. Why? Now, can I ask? Why are you making your wife's packed lunch? What's the deal there?
Oh, it's just a nice thing to do, isn't it? It saves us some money. I head to get home from work.
You work as well.
We have a little bit of, cook up a bit of chicken or something.
Wow.
A bit of yogurt with some porridge oats I make as a little sort of breakfast pot when she gets there. Lovely.
So you're not even doing, like, cheese and pickle sandwiches. You're making proper food for her. There are women all over the country, George, fainting at the sound of this. This is a wonderful thing. What a lovely little simple thing to be doing for the person you love.
Well, it's a nice thing. It's good fun. Well, I like to cook, and I'm at work most of the day. I like to, by about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I'm thinking, what are we having for supper?
Yep.
Then what are we going to be having for lunch the next day? It's the best part of my day.
Wow.
Having my lunchbox. Yeah, lovely.
God, well done, George. That's excellent. But hang on, what time do you get up for work then?
Oh, God, I work in military antiques, so I don't have to get to work until 10 o'clock. So
every sentence with you is is a revelation. Military antiques.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a small niche, but it's a deep one.
Ever sold a tank?
Oh, God, hey, I wish. That's Russia. What I do is sort of works of art with a military flavour. So we've got signed photos of Winston Churchill, old military drums that we turned into coffee tables.
Hey, did you, those Eva Braun's knickers sold recently, didn't they?
Oh, did they?
Oh, hang on a minute. Have I caught you out? Yeah, Eva Braun's knickers sold for about £3,000 earlier this week, I think.
Were they worn?
I don't. For goodness sakes, George. I don't. But they were definitely hers, and some lipstick of hers sold, I think, for about £700.
Oh my days.
Yeah, I bet you'd love to get your hands on Eva Braun's knickers.
No. Well, we also sell toy soldiers, and the German ones are about the biggest sellers that we have. We've got a model of Adolf Hitler looking at a little map of his proposed layout of the new Berlin, Germania, and that one sells like hotcakes.
Gosh, I bet Messrs. Farage and Trump have put in huge orders.
Well, I know, yeah. Well, that's... God, yeah,
so you must be doing great guns then in Nazi memorabilia at the moment.
Well, it's the sort of thing I worry about, that people might be buying that and using the DNA to clone.
These toy soldiers are very popular. I know that Catherine's dad paints the little... Well, I guess the lead ones. Is it still lead ones? I know that Andy Partridge of XTC
that's
does.
The thing, is that they haven't been lead for 60 years or so, because lead, firstly, is very expensive.
Yes, and it's
Secondly,
poisonous.
it's absolutely, it's a nightmare to sculpt anything out of it. It's too soft, so they fall apart by the time you even get it, onto the shelves. So, tin, they used to use an awful lot, but nowadays they use a thing called white metal. I don't know what that is. Probably every factory has a different alloy, but yeah, white metal.
How much would... suppose they wanted to get in on this scene, and I want to start small. A signed photo of Winston, Winnie.
Yep.
How much would that cost me?
Oh, my days. I would say you are looking at signed photo, Winston Churchill, the best part of £2,000, if not more.
Bloody hell, really?
Yeah. Well, how many did he give out?
I don't know.
Many. He's not signing any more.
I suppose that's true, yes. His days of signing. What, how about a cigar that Winston had owned?
Oh, well, that is, 80 quid. Probably less. There's hundreds of them.
80 quid for an old Winston Churchill cigar?
Yeah, well, because how can you prove it? This is the cigar that Winston Churchill gave to me, or my granddad. Yeah, you have to believe the story, don't you, when it comes to something like that?
I suppose it'd be hard to prove provenance there, wouldn't it?
Exactly. That's the sort of thing. That's the problem.
And wait, how do you do it, George? Have you got a shop that you work in, or?
Yeah. It's a shop. I'm a bit worried now.
No.
Where it is, but we're in central London. We're near Fortnum and Masons.
Wow.
In a little arcade.
I know the little arcade, the very posh arcade. I think I did some filming in that arcade once.
Oh my goodness! Well, yeah, it's an Edwardian one. There's shoe shops and waistcoats and all sorts of things nearby.
And business is going well, is it?
Yeah, it's with as soon as Brexit hit and the pound took a tumble, suddenly it was a very attractive offer for people all around the world. So,
do you get? I remember once when I was at another radio station, we did a story. It wasn't really a story. People were getting their knickers in a twist about the fact that there was a guy selling Nazi memorabilia at a local market. And there is, a lot of people collect Nazi memorabilia, and it doesn't appeal to me, but I can understand why. But do you ever get any, people come in who perhaps their interest in Nazi memorabilia is perhaps a little bit too... You're slightly suspicious of them?
Quite honestly, you know what? The best part of Indiana Jones is the fact that there's creepy Nazis in it.
Yeah.
And it's that sort of appeal.
Yeah.
That I think people are into, and we've never had anyone turn up with a little clip moustache, looking like they're going to start taking over the arcade yet.
Yeah.
And also, we don't sell that sort of thing.
No.
And so
Okay.
that's I'm sure there are some seedy corners of car parks that have people selling daggers and rings and all sorts that have that all over it, but no, it's not our cup of tea. There
has to be a limit. You talked about Churchill's pictures and signed photos. Yeah. There has to be a limit. I'm always amazed, right? Because I'm obsessed by the Beatles, George. If you've listened, you may have heard me mention the Beatles, right?
Yeah.
That even now, 60 years later, 60 years after they got together, rare, previously unseen photos or unheard songs or acetates will rock up in someone's attic or under someone's floorboards, right? The war, there must be a limit to the amount of stuff that you can buy and trade.
Oh, yeah, but...
you keep finding stuff.
No, there's always something. Like, there was... I think there was a thing in the newspaper today, I don't know which one, but there were some people who had a lamp that they had, and it turned out that lamp was some 2,000-year-old Chinese hat stand or something.
Yes.
So there's all these weird stuff that people don't understand, but also one of the best parts of our jobs is that, we find things that you do a bit of research and suddenly it tells this wonderful story that had been forgotten for hundreds of years, and, you suddenly find a person's name from a record in a newspaper. A lot of newspaper records are now online, and we spend 20 or 30 hours doing research, and all of a sudden suddenly this person who's been completely forgotten by history becomes like an interesting character again, and you've got a wonderful little perhaps a cigarette box that they owned, or a bit of wood that was from HMS Victory, and you can suddenly remember a story, and it's God, that's the best part of my job. Yeah, you invent stories or make something special again. And
you're a time detective.
Yeah, well, sort of. Yeah, I don't know. I did history at university. I've always been interested by history.
Yeah,
and it's exciting, isn't it? And actually, I was the guy who I sent you a Twitter message earlier on, and I'd like to come and do a performance ring in February.
Well, you're the one that wants to talk about the occult. London.
Like weird. Yeah, there's some wonderful stories all about London. They're probably not all true, but God, they're interesting. Yeah.
Oh gosh, look at the time. I've got George. Listen, yes, you can come and do that. We'll sort out a date. I need to go because I'm late for a break. But I'd love you to come and give a talk. It'd be brilliant.
No problem,
George. Nice. I will. If I don't reply to you in the next couple of days, send me an email to nudge me. But I will do. Thank you so much. Nice to talk to you, man. I'll speak to you soon.
No problem. Have a lovely evening.
Thank you, George. What a delightful gentleman.
Late night Iain Lee. Unfiltered night talk with the original king of unconventional conversation on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
Dear listener, gosh, I feel my voice is going ever so slightly. I thought, I love that. We'll be all right. So, a couple of weeks ago, Catherine and I went and met Francis Rossi, and it's odd, we were keen to talk to him anyway, and then he was doing a round of interviews and what have you, and we went, and we thought, well, he's had a long day, he'll be grumpy. I didn't really know what to expect to be honest. But what I got was a very charming, down-to-earth bloke who's a big fan of music. And what you're going to hear is, you'll hear kind of before the interview as well. I had my little recorder going as I was walking into the studio where he was. So you'll hear a little bit at the beginning that's not quite as good quality, and that's me walking in and saying hello. So this is me interviewing the excellent Francis Rossi. Am I going straight through? I'm coming through.
You need to sit in here.
Yeah.
Hello, darling. This is London. No.
I'm a real live person who's come to meet you. Hello, mate. How you doing?
Not bad, thank you. Oh, you've got one of those.
I'm doing it with this.
He's doing it.
I'll do it with this.
Oh,
right, okay. Unless you, is it easier for you to?
It's whatever you want, mate.
You stop that.
I'll tell you what. In that case, if you can record it and send it over, would that be all right? That's cool, yeah. If I sit down, I'll keep
fine.
this
You've got
running.
your mic. I've got my, yeah, good. Back up. I like it.
What a thrill to meet you.
There we go. Don't call me Wiggo. That's twice he's tried.
No, hang on. I'm not. Don't start a fight.
That is so distinguished, you.
It's the first time I've had one.
With it though.
Really?
Oh.
What do you mean? Well, don't ponce it up a bit.
No, I don't mean that. Just the coloury thing. Don't go to colour.
Oh no! I'm waiting for the grey.
Oh,
I'm
you're going to have a wonderful
grey.
job, aren't you? You really are. No, I'm serious. You've got no half crown, have you?
It's not going anywhere.
Right. Did you notice when as soon as Tom started dyeing his hair, he looked great again?
Yeah.
And he had that funny, we call it Italian chestnut. People can't take their eyes off your hair because it doesn't look right.
Well, McCartney as well. I mean,
Yeah, I know.
there's something going on.
I know.
Until 1:15.
Brilliant, yeah.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Downstairs and do driver.
Thank you very much, my love.
Thank you very much. We're recording. So nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Tell us about the new album. You're going acoustic again.
Yeah, well, it was logical that we'd go there, I suppose. You know, I've said to everybody today, if we were managing this act and they'd gone into a acoustic thing, we've got to get them to do a second one. The first one was successful, so...
Biggest album in 18 years?
Yeah, but the interesting thing was, if you'd said to me when we first did it, you'll probably do a second and do as well...
Yeah.
It would have been great, but now it needs to be more. That's one of the things about this. It's like the drug. It always has to have more.
Yeah.
It should be enough.
So
to
what
have the
more
same.
have you put on this record then? How have you made this one different from the first one?
It's a lot more. We were probably a little too cautious on the first one. There's a better bottom end. The bass guitar's more. Some of the high mids are in the guitar. The first one was very
right. Okay.
And the drums were a little bigger and it had more aggressive. We were always better not use real drum sixes, very light drums. But it's such a joy making those albums that even if we weren't getting success with them, it would not take away the joy of making them.
Why are you still making records? Because the industry as a whole, records don't sell anything like they did, do they?
No,
20 years
not
ago.
at all. No.
And I mean, the money is in the touring, from what I read. And I wonder why you personally, what you got out of.
Well, it's
going
like
in
the
studio.
albums now. You say the money's in the touring. That's what gets people to come and see you. It's a bit of a strange thing that goes on there. And I've been talking a lot about the money recently. That people don't realise that, like any other business, unless we make a profit.
Yeah.
You're gone.
Yeah, of course.
And we can't finance it and do it. So every time we come up to thinking of stopping, I wonder what's going to happen. Like everybody, we've got pension things, and I've got offspring, and I've got outgoings, and everybody seems to imagine that you won this 10, 20 million quid some years ago, and it's just sitting in the corner, and you've been ripped off, taking drugs, got abused, but the money stays there.
Yeah, of course.
It's a great responsibility trying to.
Well, everyone
keep
does
our
think
crew.
this about rock stars, that, you're lighting £50 cigars with £50 notes, and, you've got...
But that's the showbiz face, and perhaps
Of
we're
course.
supposed to do that.
Yeah.
I'm getting more and more lately that I start telling people, no, it's not quite like that.
Yeah.
And it is in a strange place, the industry. But as I said, the interesting thing, we've heard we're hovering around 7. I'm like, yes!
Yeah.
And then they told me how many pieces that means. I went, oh my...
It's like, what, 30,000?
I'm not telling you
Don't tell
how
me,
many.
no.
It's not that good.
Is it not?
No,
Isn't
no,
that
no.
sad?
Very.
You come from an era when to get to number one, you had to sell 1 million records.
Oh, we would be thrilled at the numbers that went each day.
It's weird, isn't it?
Very. But... as I said to you, the thing about it, when I heard 7, it's like the ego. It's like, yes, you're still in there with everybody else. You're still...
Well, you're still keeping up with it.
Yeah.
Is it weird doing it on your own, doing these interviews on your own? You're doing the tour without...
No, I'm
that's-
better doing the interviews on mine. That's where I started, and
Right.
I often think that sometimes we talked about it some years ago, that we come in and people want us to do that silly double act that we do, and sometimes there's a pressure on us to do that. But whilst, and I should notice that when we do stuff individually, an individual has a train of thought as you're going through. If I have to pause now for Rick to say something, I might lose my train of thought. So I think sometimes the interviews become disjointed somewhat. Funny.
Yeah.
But nothing ever actually got across. So
And the
I'm not
concerts, are you worried about that?
That was difficult at first. But because he's always been there since 1967. And but I hate to admit it, that bringing in a young person has done something, whether it's make you pull your socks up somewhat, or the fact that we had to get pulled together as a team and, well, you better sing that. Can you manage? No, we're going to have to change that. Can we drop that?
You have to think a bit harder.
Yeah.
Perhaps you got a bit comfortable.
I think, I've been saying that. Perhaps we became complacent somewhat.
And a lot of bands are doing this. I'm a big fan of the Beach Boys, and I know you recorded with the Beach Boys, but you go and see either the Beach Boys or Brian Wilson, there's loads of kids in the band now, and it does add something to the sound. What was it? How did you manage to blag the Beach Boys as your backing band?
We were doing a covers album in that period, but this was one of the dark periods, really, to try and stay alive. And we mentioned that we met the Beach Boys somewhere first in Berlin, and that was fabulous. And then we talked about, we were doing the album, we said, well, let's get a Beach Boy. We went through so many tracks that you think would be marvellous, and the track I least like of theirs is Fun, Fun, Fun.
And that's the one you went for,
and that's the one we did, and they loved it.
Did they really?
And it was a great time, one of the great times in my life, hanging out with those guys.
You got Brian Wilson back in the Beach Boys, which hadn't happened for a long time then.
No,
that was a big...
that was kind of sad somewhat. We were doing a TV one afternoon, and, you run through, and they said, we all cleared the stage to walk between a run-through, and he's standing there waiting for someone to tell him. And then when we did the real show, he came off, and all he could say was, I did it.
Wow.
I did it.
Sad, isn't it?
Yeah, very. But talented man, and if that isn't something to teach everybody about drugs, be really careful.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. You guys, I know you've done a lot of stuff, and you're lucky that you're alive, and everything's still going on in your head, you're still able to function. I've got to ask, we've only got a couple of minutes left, what were Queen like? A lot of people may not remember that you went on tour with Queen.
That was our so-called comeback tour with the new band after we split out. Yeah, we'd known Queen a long time anyway. Rick used to hang out with a lot of big friends, just known them a long time. So my thing with Queen is I remember at the time, and remember people slagging them somewhat.
Yeah.
But now you look at their catalogue, wow.
Yeah.
That's a fabulous act. Fabulous about everything about it.
Every band has to go that through a bit. I mean, you were a joke for a bit, weren't you?
I don't know.
And then you look at the stats, 60 songs in the top 40, more than any other band.
Kind of ridiculous,
the numbers you've sold, I think you've come out the other side of that being a bit of a joke now.
I hope so, but I never take that for granted, because I noticed in this business you can be there and then there's suddenly not. I remember seeing a programme that they were really taking out of the Bee Gees.
Right, yeah, of course.
Really?
Yeah.
It's, they look silly doing it. They did look silly in that period, but they actually checked the material, the fantastic songs, and they still are. Even Barry Gibb's recent stuff. I could kill him.
This is an exclusive. Status Quo going to kill the remaining Bee Gees.
Yeah, that would be close, wouldn't it? No, but he really does turn out, and that's what I think with lots of people. You suddenly, perhaps it's looking back. Same thing's happened to Jeff Lynne at the moment.
Yeah.
He couldn't get arrested 10 years ago. Now it's like we've always loved Jeff. And I've always been a fan since I was about 16 with him, so... I have. When I first used to see Idle Race, and we used to work around Birmingham doing doubles and such, he was always brilliant and an extremely nice man.
Yeah.
But he's no good as a front man. Sorry, Jeff. He just can't talk to an audience very well.
I've got to ask you, I'm a big fan of the stuff you did in the 60s. When was there a decision to kind of go away from that slightly psychedelic stuff and go into the hard rock, or did it just kind of happen?
No, it was the other way. We were at Butlins, had a sort of a rock and roll-ish set, Every Brothers, Rock Around the Clock, that kind of stuff. And got back to London, and bearing in mind, Minehead you were cut off from London, you know. And we got back, and it was all ride your pony. I don't know what they're talking about. But we had to do a lot of that stuff. Then we were Madeline Bell's backing band, so she did a lot of the soul stuff. Then I wrote almost but not quite there, and then Matchstick Men. Matchstick Men took off. We were a rock band with a soul set and a psychedelic single, so...
You've always been a bit confused.
Really. And we were out there, and then realising that you'd play Top Rank Circuit and the Mecca Circuit,
Brilliant.
and there'd be about 1,200 people, and you knew that loads of the girls that went there because there'd be blokes there, and loads of the blokes went there because there'd be women there, and there were half a dozen or so at the front going, I love you! And the closer you were to the top of the pops, the more the reaction would be, and the further away you got from the more blank you would get, kind of. So to work in, there was this pub circuit at the time, to work in a pub and support whomever for a £5 or such and get genuine applause because they liked what...
Because you were doing the job well.
Yeah, that's what drove it. And then there was, I don't know when we decided, but I can't wear this stuff, and can't we just wear what we... And we went on, it was the Castle in Tooting, we were supporting Meet the Hoot Ball. Meet the Hoot Ball, I love that. And I remember there would have been a guy on the previous package tours we did with Gene Pitney and stuff, that you would have to get past him before... Not enough makeup. You go back upstairs and put the makeup... Your shirt's not great. If that shirt isn't clean tomorrow, you're... Whoa, that kind of thing. Yeah. And we went on this gig, and I remember me and Rick going... Oh, you're just realising it's up to us if we wear that. And then before you know it, it became an image. So that was really good for us because didn't have to buy clothes.
Yeah. Listen, I'm going to let you go. I saw you in concert about 5 or 6 years ago. It was brilliant. At Wembley Arena.
Did you say brilliant on here?
Well, it's a pre-record. We can out. Exactly. It was brilliant. I loved it. It was a bit longer than 5, 6. It was at Wembley Arena. Maybe it was about 7 or 8. Did you used to have a driver called Andrew?
Yeah, Andrew Cremoni.
I think so.
Have you seen him recently?
No, I've not.
His hands are gone.
Have they
He's a
really?
lovely guitar player, and he can't.
He used to phone my radio show, and he he got me some tickets, and I came, and I absolutely loved it. So nice to meet you, man.
Thank you, sir.
Absolute legend. Thank you very much.
That was good.
Talk Radio. 24-hour radio debate and entertainment.
Talk Radio.
We'll get you talking.